You are now listening to The Sports Table.
You know what's funny about Hailey? I went to a restaurant. I have to pick up some food. I go to the restroom. All Hispanic. You know, you see like flies everywhere. I look to my left, and it says Blokes. I look to my right, and it says Sheila's. I'm like, so these are the doors at Outback Steakhouse.
Yeah, they just stole the Outback
They stole the signs from the Outback Steakhouse, and they put it on the front of their doors.
With Chris.
I was hacked here at work on my Facebook, and a friend of mine posted a status of the closet is dark, I'm coming out. And everyone was like, it's about time. I have to change something about my personality. Bring my girlfriend as many places as I can.
Theo Carlos.
That first take show, for the love of Jesus, man. That's like watching the Bravo channel, man. With Skiptora Bayless and Stefania A. Smith. Give me a freaking break, man. Housewives of Bristol. And watch those two little bitches bicker back and forth.
Alan.
I'm very curious because they present something completely different from the general politics amongst the big families. And I just don't know what to expect out of those two. Maybe we're taking over a dragon?
What's that?
And Theo George.
No, yeah. No, it's for last night. Yeah. I mean, no, you know what? I'm going to go back to watching. I don't know what I'm watching. Toda la mierda que está ahí, ¿qué cosa hay?
Because here, nothing is off the table.
Can you imagine that conversation when they start nailing it in there? Yes.
No, I want the explanation.
Que lo que es un bloke.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know how many people?
¿Qué carajo estás, Chila?
You know how many,
¿Cuánto va un Chila?
you know how many people have stopped in front of the doors and gone back and asked, where the hell is the men's bathroom?
Porque vi un bloke ahí, pero ¿qué es eso?
¿Qué coño bloque y chila ni un carajo, chico?
I think it's time to blow this scene. Get everybody in the stuff together. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
This is what I'm talking about, Alan.
Yeah, baby, yeah.
This will get you up.
Sounds like the old theme to Mission Impossible.
No, this
Yeah,
is
kind of.
Incorrect, sir.
Yeah, kind of, huh? Yeah. Alan, tell the truth. You listen to this music at all?
Oh, yeah. This
Alan.
is okay.
And
wait. Before we get into the music, though, we got to tell everyone who we are. We're back!
We're back!
Yay!
back.
Hey, we're back. Welcome to the Sports Table, everybody. I'm Chris, and I'm joined each and every week, most of the time, by everyone in this room. Alan to my right, Theo George in front of me, and Theo Carlos to my left.
I'm here.
We're on a special day because Alan had to pull some of his weight, some of his clout, so we adjusted. We're a day early, but this music right here, it'll excuse it. this makes it worth it.
Carlos' face.
Carlos missed his son's open house for the show, Alan.
Oh, I'm sorry, Pablo.
What is this, Alan? This is awesome.
Well, I threatened early on that I was going to do an anime show. I was going to take opening songs from high-end anime that isn't just nonsense in schools or just, contrived stories. So this is one of the classics that I grew up with. This is Cowboy Bebop. The song's name is Tank. Cowboy Bebop is essentially a space western. But the group that made it basically decided they're going to go with a film theme and a music theme. Mm-hmm. So it's a space western with jazz.
It sounds like Lawrence Welk on meth. Lawrence Welk playing with his band on meth.
I don't know who that is.
Okay, well.
George can't stop laughing. He hurts.
This space western, yeah. That's right.
This has to be the worst thing I've ever heard. This is absolute.
You were okay with it until you realized it was Japanese.
This is good.
George was bobbing his head. He was rubbing his head on the mic like he always does, and then it got rhythmic. And now he's laughing because he heard space western and Japanese.
Because
Let me
it's,
tell
it's,
you,
it's like a jazz guy on acid. I mean, just tooting the horn.
If I didn't know any better, I would say that he was on drugs. Where the hell you come up with these things, man?
Okay, I watched a lot of
Es un
TV when I was
muñequito.
young.
Es muñequito.
Well, that's what it is.
Muñequito. It's like
Yeah.
it's like music
Hey,
from
in Japan,
from the Mach
there's
5.
not a lot of place to film stuff, so they animate most
What
of
is
their
your
shows.
fascination with Japan? For the love of God,
They
You're
make good
Cuban.
shows. Hey,
Oh,
hey, let me ask you a question. Has Cuba ever produced a TV show worth watching?
yeah.
No, and Que Pasa USA is not Cuban, so don't
No.
come with me with that.
Bro,
Don't come with
Tres
that.
Tremenda corte.
I don't know what that is.
Trepatini.
What do you mean you don't know what that tremenda corte is?
Sábado Gigante. No, Sábado Gigante.
But that's not from Cuba. That's
No,
from
yeah.
here.
No, Tres Patines.
Tres patines,
La grande.
bro.
la-
Pototo.
Poto-
Pototo, tres patines, nananina.
We're having a
Aún cantao.
generational gap here because I don't speak very good Spanish, and you're throwing out stuff I don't know.
No. Those are just sounds. Those
Yeah,
are
I
words.
figured they
No,
are.
no.
Pipo,
Google.
tito,
Trepa-
tutti.
Tres Patines,
Google,
Tres Patines
tres
was the
patines,
show.
la
Yeah.
tremenda corte, para que tú veas. You're gonna laugh.
For real.
man.
Go, Google,
All right, we'll hit
Google
that in
Tres Patines.
between.
I'm
But
bring-
all right,
I got two CDs. I'm bringing you a CD.
all right. So
Chicho chucho.
growing up, I figured out that a lot of the shows I watched weren't from here to begin with. Like we all watched Avatar. Avatar, a lot of the origins are Asian.
No, but
and a
that's
lot of
American.
the inferences.
That's
It's American,
It's
done.
American made.
It's American made, but a
yeah.
lot of the things they do in it were because they watched Japanese animation.
True.
And Japan has to animate because where the hell are you going to film anything in that overpopulated island? So they make mature content animated.
And all the actors will get confused with each other.
Bro, you're going back to again. See, now you just you slipped it in there under radar. Nobody caught it. Moi, I'm paying attention. I caught it. You just said mature content. You know what you mean. Guys, he means Japanese porn. That's what he's talking about. Japanese porn.
Who would watch cartoon porn?
No. Space Western cartoon.
Space
porn.
Western cartoon porn,
I didn't even
Japanese
think this
style.
get thrown into a porn. This stuff was on Cartoon Network, bro.
Holy crap. I think you're on drugs, man.
Oh my god.
No. I catch those subliminal things very, very well. I'm very attuned.
I did hear
Mind you, in my head, I'm thinking of an anime where people actually die and their gruesome deaths and their sadness.
From having sex?
No. Although, considering what I've learned from Japan, I wouldn't doubt that exists because they are some weird people.
It started off everyone nodding their head.
Oh, everybody
Yeah,
enjoyed
yeah,
it
yeah.
until I
Hey,
said
it
it
was
was
good.
something
It was good
Japanese.
music.
It was good
Yeah.
music.
But the explanation was hilarious. It was like a freaking 1960 space cadet.
Oh my goodness.
You know what it reminded me? What's that new movie that came out with Harrison Ford, or not Harrison Ford? Was it Harrison Ford, the old guy, and the space cowboy movie? With,
Cowboys and Aliens?
That one. That's it. That probably could be in there in soundtrack.
No, that was a Heineken
No, because that was
commercial.
legitimate Western. This was meant to have jazz themed. Everybody's dressed as if they're from a jazz bar.
This is a Heineken commercial. You
Yeah,
know
I could see that.
Yeah,
You
that
know
new,
where they're
that new
running
Heineken.
through?
Yeah,
Okay,
that new Heineken
take
commercial.
that Heineken commercial in your head and imagine spreading that out in space. And that's what we got.
Again, another one of those words that he used, spread. Just keep listening to all these words he's interjecting into the conversation that are undercover words. Keep listening.
And out of all shows, cartoon shows do have the most subliminal messages.
Yes.
Probably, yeah.
Which is why, well, let's just move on.
I'm so happy we're back, man. Welcome back to the sports
It
table.
was actually pretty good music, though.
No, it was really good
Yeah.
music. I just imagine someone running, trying to, find a Heineken bottle and someone chasing him throughout the whole thing.
That's
Yeah.
feasible in this show, yeah.
It sounded to me like the Marlins theme song. Like, it's just
Whoa,
so hectic.
Marlins
So hectic. Nothing going on
whoa.
yet. Everything's moving.
Whoa,
and
don't
nothing
you dare
happening.
put that song with the Marlins, man. Whoa.
Alan, where does this show rank among the anime shows? Not of your personal preference, but of overall clout.
I'd say in this country it's considered a top 10 anime.
How does it compare to SpongeBob?
Not nearly as good.
It's-
Right.
Look, if I could piss and shit on SpongeBob, literally, I would. Because
Okay.
there's no forget that it breaks your mind.
You know what? Sandy Cheeks would whoop any one of those Japs' butts.
SpongeBob is great.
Who the hell is Sandy?
Sandy's
You know
the
what?
little
Sandy,
squirrel.
Wait,
Sandy.
wait.
Sandy.
We stumbled across this. George, SpongeBob is great.
Yeah,
I am nowhere near surprised that you like SpongeBob.
of
Wait,
course.
wait a second. I like a few episodes of SpongeBob.
Hey, SpongeBob.
Yeah, but you're younger.
SpongeBob,
Be fair.
SpongeBob is intelligent, sentimental, loyal as
What?
hell. Loyal. He is loyal to all his friends.
He's
no
all
matter
happy.
What. and happy.
He's
Always in
also-
a great
Always
mood.
in a good mood.
Always smiling, going to work, loves working at the
Always.
Krusty Krab, even though he works for a grumpy old money grubbing crab man.
Okay, your point.
He's a great show.
Yes, it is a good show.
How did you guys get into that
I
show?
don't know.
Your
I don't know.
children?
Well, yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Well, once they start watching, Cowboys in Space,
Cowboys in
then,
Space.
then you'll catch on.
Jassy Cowboy in Space.
That sound like Swim Channel.
Tell the
That
truth.
Swim Channel where it's like rated R.
Do you have to
Oh,
be?
Adult
Cowboy
Swim.
Bebop. Cowboy
Adult
Bebop was
Swim.
an
Adult
11
Swim.
p.m. show on Cartoon
There
Network.
you go, 11 p.m. where everybody's up.
No, when the 5-year-olds are asleep.
Do you have to be stoned to watch a game?
No.
This
Carlos,
a lot
I
of
mean,
this
Carlos.
happens. Wait, a lot of-
George, look at me for a second. From what you know of me, where I refuse to ever touch beer, do you think I've ever been stoned?
Oh God.
You do touch beer, so don't try to
No.
tell
All right.
tell our audience that you do not drink.
I apologize. I have touched beer twice in the last year.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
A lot of this happens during
Hey,
these cartoon
listen.
shows.
I
Wait,
don't drink beer.
All right.
Well, there you go. There's your example.
We have way too much.
Do I look
dead
like
air.
I've ever been stoned?
Hey,
You lived in
Listen,
the
let me
70s.
say this
That's a little
joke
bit
so
of
we
a
can
taint on that
advance.
one.
wrangle this thing in.
Okay,
guys.
listen.
Take control.
A lot of this happens during these cartoon porns.
There you go.
What is it? Space Bob, Bitty Bob. What is the name of it?
Cowboy Bebop.
The sports table is back. We
That's
have
the one.
we have
This
a lot-
segment will never air.
we have a lot of sports to get to. We are currently watching live the USA play Mexico. It's in the United States, and if Mexico loses, they are out. Right? That's from what I understand.
I think so.
Mexico falls out of the,
I think
out of the
so.
pool.
That's correct.
The
Their
United-
manager got fired.
Did
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And we're 39 minutes away from President
Why,
Obama
man?
trying to convince the country that we should
they? Right.
annihilate Syria.
Well, we have a lot to get to. Yeah. So the United States, it's about almost 15 minutes into the match. They just lost to Costa Rica 1-3 last week. So this is pretty important for both teams. The first week of NFL is done.
Woo!
Finally.
Man,
Thank-
was that
Finally,
spectacular.
Finally.
Thank the Lord.
Did we have some fun or what?
Because you know what? It's been since July where I've been on overload like this. Week 1, I could not get enough. I was watching everything. I was constantly on my fantasy update on my phone. It was everywhere. People were telling me that Red Zone is back and their lives are normal. And then we had some pretty good Monday night games and Sunday night game. And then it starts
Especially
up,
that early Monday night game was spectacular.
Yeah, I was.
it
The
starts
first half was.
It starts up again in 2 weeks. 2 days. I'm sorry. Football's back again on Thursday. So it's coming by fast. There's only 17 weeks of
Man,
this.
it'll be so fast. We'll be here talking about, damn, it's over already in no time.
Yeah, it'll be week 10 before we know it.
Yep.
But week 1 just happened. So we have the Dolphins. They win. They're 1-0. That's pretty big, everybody. They won on the road.
Yeah.
No matter who you
Yeah. In the
no matter
NFL,
who you
Yeah.
play.
that's a great point.
Yeah.
In the NFL, regardless of who you play, if you win on the road, it was a good win.
it's a big win.
Yep.
The Jets won. The Patriots, they looked bad for a little bit, but they pulled it out through towards the end. There's a lot of good, exciting plays and moments. We'll get to football a little bit later. The Canes, they beat the Gators over the weekend, which was huge.
as predicted.
It was really it was a good win for the program and for the city of Miami.
Jackass
Finally,
UF.
this is the last time we're gonna see the Gators in a long time,
Bunch of
in
chickens.
in at least 4 or 5 years. So it was a good lasting memory for the next half decade, and they jump all the way up to 15th. Now the Canes are 15th ranked in the country. When was the last time the Canes were ever ranked that high?
Ooh, it's
it
been a
was-
while.
Isn't it Ja'Cory
No.
Harris?
Yeah, a
They
couple
got
of
up
years
there?
ago, they got up there. 2-3 years ago, max.
Yeah, I think they jumped up and pretty quickly went back down a little bit.
Well, it's a big move for them as
Yeah,
they get
from unranked to 15.
Yeah, absolutely. In a big win, in an ugly game, but they still won nonetheless. The Marlins, they're about to not reach a goal that we set for them at the beginning of the year.
More like reach an expectation.
True. Carlos will jump all over that a little bit later. A lot of sports to get to. But before we get to any of that stuff, let's get the serious mode out of the way. I'll just turn off George's mic. That way he doesn't have to feel obligated to speak.
Oh, he's got good opinions on this.
I want to hear him.
I don't want to. I don't.
As Carlos pointed out earlier in the segment, President Obama is about to speak to the nation on his plan,
His plan, his justification, and reasons for.
sending a limited strike How did John Kerry say it? Seriously limited?
Seriously limited, and I think that's one of the issues that the nation has right now. Resounding polls. The polls are 60+%. Oh, that's a dollar.
Por favor, man.
That's a dollar for each of us. You owe us each a
Por
Coke.
favor, man.
That's George's cell phone going off, by the way.
Yeah.
So the rule is that you buy a Coke for everybody if your phone goes off.
Well, that's more than $1
during the next break. I think the country is completely divided on this, and not evenly either. It's 65% of the country does not want any kind of involvement in Syria at all. Zero, none.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're caught between a rock and a hard place. And I think some of the comments that were made in the last year to year and a half have put us in this position, and the lack of action in the last 9 to 10 months put us in this position now where if we don't do something, we're going to become a laughingstock. We're going to lose credibility in that region of the world.
The United States becomes
the United States, absolutely, because now you got Syria. You got Al-Assad who's now barking at us and telling us, "Hey, stay back or else."
Right.
And it's not just
Expect
government,
everything.
right?
Everything.
Expect everything, and not just from the government, but there are other factions in the region.
Right.
And when he does that, he's talking about the Muslim Brotherhood. He's talking about Hezbollah. He's talking about Iran. He's talking about all the other people in that area.
Yeah.
So now he's really barking at us and telling us, you need to be careful. And we're taking a step back. So now what do we do? How do we handle this? I think right now we're in a lose-lose. If we attack and we hit hard, we're going to be having to face issues with Russia and with China, and those are going to be serious consequences. And I think that they're going to come at us, not the Russians and the Chinese, but I think the out layer of terrorist cells are going to come after us in different ways in different areas throughout that are U.S. represented sections.
Well, we'll do a small poll in here. The overall poll in the United States, in regards to the average citizen, they do not want to get involved.
Correct.
They don't want to get involved. And Congress did a vote. It didn't pass in the Senate, and it was obliterated in Congress.
It's a shock that it didn't pass in the Senate overwhelmingly. Those are his people.
Right.
But
even Democrats
the Democrats don't want
Yeah.
it. What this is going to do, mark my words, this is gonna Jimmy Carter, President Obama's reign as president. It's going to put him in a position. It's going to put him in the same box that Carter was in.
Which was what?
Which is a box of non-respect. A box of not being able to accomplish, because now he can't even get his own people to back him on something he wants to do.
Right. Well, I mean, just take the poll in here. That way everyone can get involved. Do you guys want – I'll start off with George. That way he can just look at me for a minute and then turn back to the TV. You don't want any involvement at all?
No. I mean, I'm saying we don't go. I don't care if they're laughing at us or not.
Right.
I don't think we should go. I don't think we should get involved in that region at all.
I think unless there's a concrete positive to go, you don't go, because you don't want to stick your neck out there for what? There has to be a reason. If there isn't, stay.
I mean, the reason would be to prevent this guy from using chemical weapons on his own people. That would be the only reason, right? Isn't that mission one, goal number one?
I think it's goal number two. I think goal number one was and I'm one that I can go either way. Right now, today, I don't want to go in there. A year ago, 9 months ago, then that's a different story. Why did we wait 2 years, a year and a half, have 130,000 people extinguished? Again, we've had this commentary before. Doesn't matter to me if you torture somebody, hang them, shoot them, burn them, they're still dead. Chemical weapons are just another way of killing somebody. And a more inefficient way of killing somebody. Because a conventional bomb is going to kill a lot more people than a chemical bomb.
Right.
It's just a different way of dying. But right now, I don't think we belong in there right now. I think right now we need to take a step back and try to figure out how it is that we fit in that region, if we fit in that region at all. And that's a big question.
For me, it's scary. It's just scary. I thought once Obama came in and he was declaring that he was going to close down both wars, the United States was going to be good for a while. The United States was not going to get involved in any more conflicts. I'm tired of it. I mean, I remember watching Shock and Awe in class in 8th grade. That doesn't seem that far away, that long ago, but it's been a decade. I remember where I was in 2001, when it all started. And I don't, and then it's been ever since Obama's been in here, and I'm not just putting it on him. It's just
it's the time,
the reaction, of the Middle East right now. I mean, what happened in Egypt, what happened in Libya, what's happening in all over the place. There's a lot of unrest, and it seems like the U.S. has picked and choose which country to participate in, and now they sort of put the red line, and now they're out there on their own.
Well,
Because everyone, when they're like, step forward, everyone that wants to be involved, the cartoons, and
everybody
everyone
moves
takes a
back.
step back, and he's the only one that's left there.
Right.
That's sort of what's happening.
And that's exactly what happened. And you know what? Yes and no. It's not on President Obama. But it wasn't on Bush, and it wasn't on Clinton, and it wasn't on the other Bush either. But as the person in that position, you put yourself in that position with your foreign policy decisions and how you go about, retrofitting the United States into that part of the world, into that region, which is a very delicate thing to do.
Right.
And
It's an impossible thing to do.
It is. It's been proven impossible way back from the Reagan times to now, and even further back. But you can see that he doesn't have that ability to deal in that area. He started off his term with the apology tour when he did the whole Middle East, and he apologized to everybody for how bad we were. And I think he lost a lot of credibility there. Although some said thank you, but at that point they saw that as giving into and apologizing for our actions. And that was the wrong way to start that. So I don't think that there's any fear. I don't think there's any respect for him in that part of the world. And fear and respect are two different things, but they both can accomplish the same thing.
This is the one aspect that I've been thinking about, and it sort of steers away from Syria and into more of a thesis. The American people loudly do not want to be involved. The people that are running our government at the very top, our leader, commander in chief, they want to be involved.
Correct.
So where is the line of how much the people that we elect into office basically determine whether the American people knows what's right or wrong, even though they overwhelmingly decide against it?
I'm gonna say, whoever we put in charge, they make the decisions, and that's it. I don't trust the American people to make decisions. We are, by and large, dumb. We support Miley Cyrus and Justin Bieber as proof of our idiocy. And we're not going to be informed enough on these world issues in general.
So we're not informed enough to elect then, if that's
No,
the
well,
case.
we aren't. If you really think about it, how many people voted based on a single issue rather than the actual important issue,
And
or on popularity?
Yeah. I mean that's true. And for all that, all that rhetoric about the uninformed voter, the uneducated voter, the unintelligent voter, the guy that's voting for color, or the guy that's voting for party, or for religion. Yeah, those people exist, but I think there's a solid foundation of American voters that express their opinions in a articulate, intelligent way, and are educated enough to know what a conflict can do or cannot do for our country, and at what time it's become an issue. When we're going, our conflict resolutions should be always based on what are the probabilities or possibilities that this is going to impact our nation one way or another. And right now, there is no way in hell, even if you gave them 3 boats and 2 planes, that they can do anything from their country to our country. They're just too far away. They're not technologically advanced enough to impact our life or our world.
Well, I don't completely agree with that. I tell you what, the only reason why we look in the Middle East is because of oil.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah, they can. The Suez Canal is there. That's where a lot of it is. So if Syria can interject and deal with the Suez Canal and make that a difficult transit point, but they still can't. They still can't affect you and me here.
The thing that I would put to that, though, it's not Syria by itself. Syria's backed by a big dog.
Yeah.
So it's not like Libya, where it's just Gaddafi by himself and he's got no one backing him. He's got the second world power right behind us, Russia supporting him.
But they don't want a nuclear war.
No, they don't want nuclear war, but they're not. It's not like they're just gonna let it go.
Right, which is why I say stay away from there. Right now, at this point, if we didn't go in to stop the genocide, to stop the mass murders, why are we going to go in after the fact? See, I don't like reactive government. I like proactive government. Mm-hmm. And right now we're playing that reactive government game where that happened, and this happened, now it's time to step in. Well, damn it, this is the 3rd or 4th time they've used chemical weapons in that region. And now we're going to step in? Come on, well, we're a day late and $1 short.
So what would you say then to the fact that the American people, the population overall, do not want any conflict and they don't want to be involved at all, and the people that are running this government might do it even without the votes in Congress.
And I think that the people, just like when Bush did it before and Clinton did it before him, I think they're wrong. I think they need to listen to the people that put them in the position that they're in now. They work for the American people. That's the way it was set up. You revisited that a month ago when you were in Boston, and you saw a lot of that.
Right.
This is why we put them in position. This is why they're set up the way they are set up, to have the checks and balances in place so that one man cannot make the decisions that the presidents have been making over the last three presidencies.
But Bush, it happened with Bush. They didn't do it with with the approval, and he went in anyway.
Right, and then after the fact, he went to Congress, and Clinton did the same thing when he launched the missiles, and then after the fact, he went to Congress.
Right.
There's that 16 to 90 day window that we talked about before that they have to cease military actions after the fact if they cannot justify it to Congress and get congressional approval, which is something that he can do because he's actually telling us this is not going to be 60 to 90 days anyway.
This is the last point before we go to break, so we can get back into the football. Who's in control? Who's in charge? Is it Obama? Is it the people that elected him? Is it outside circumstances? I don't understand who or what determines decisions like this.
I think there is a great little book which is about the size of this little notebook I have.
Mm-hmm.
It's called None Dare Call It Conspiracy. Very difficult book to find. I have to happen to have a copy of it. And it talks about world bankers and money. And all these wars, the underlying current to all these wars, somewhere along the line, you tie it in with the dollar.
Always is.
And that's what drives this. The president doesn't necessarily run himself. The president is run. Congress does not run itself. Congress is run. And it's all run by the dollar. So I think the dollar influences what's happening now and what will happen then.
That's conspiracy stuff. I don't.
No, well, if you were to read the book, you'd see that it's not conspiracy. You'll see that it's.
it's not
fact.
common knowledge. So if it's not common knowledge,
a perfect example of, it wasn't chemical warfare, but it don't matter how you're killing people with machetes, with chemicals, with freaking nuclear bombs. Are you killing people? In Africa, there was plenty of genocides.
Sure.
And in Rwanda, nobody went there. Nobody cared. You know why? There ain't no money. That's always the bottom line.
How many people?
That's what drives everything.
Did Idi Amin kill? And we didn't go in there. Again, it's about the dollar. It's about how the money affects it, and that's what drives it. It's the world banks, not Bank of America, and not Wells Fargo. It's the world banks.
So what does the IMF want with this war? Well, so how does that answer my question? What's determining this decision? Why is he pushing so hard?
The man is in charge.
The invisible hand.
I think that there's a lot to do with the standing of our country in the world and the fact that we need to be looked upon as a country that says something and then acts on what they say, which is why the only thing that can save us now is that idea that Putin came up with that Obama's trying to take credit for now, which kind of saves face on both sides.
Well, what's the idea?
And the idea,
so listeners can hear.
The idea is that al-Assad and his Syrian government will hand over all their chemical weapons to an international body that would house them and then systematically destroy those weapons so that there are no more chemical weapons in Syria. Obviously, the obvious problem is, how do you know he's giving them all to you?
Right.
How do you know how many he's going to give them? And how do you get them from point A to point B during a civil war in a country?
Right.
And what are you going to do? Let's say he does give up all the chemical weapons. What if he starts dropping 500-pound bombs and killing, 400 kids a day? Sure. What are you going to do? Take away those bombs then?
Well, that and the fact that it'll take him another 6 months to start the chemical weapons program again, and within a year he'll have the same amount of weapons that he had before.
But even if he doesn't,
there's nothing to stop that.
But even if he doesn't, even if he doesn't drop any more chemical weapons, he just drops, like I said, 500-pound bombs.
Right.
And kills 400 kids, 500 kids, 1,000 people, 3,000 people. What's the difference?
If that's what the leaders of that country want to do, there's nothing we're going to do to stop that unless we stop the leader and get rid of the leader. We've already done that. We backed Saddam Hussein for a whole bunch of years. Look what he turned out to be. And that's what happens in these parts of the world that are not used to having that type of government. they struggle with that type of government because they don't understand the nuances that go on with these types of governments.
A la Egypt.
Exactly.
Well, it's 31 minutes into the match.
Holy
U.S.
crap.
U.S. versus Mexico, and still scoreless. It's scary. It's scary as a U.S. citizen. I don't want another conflict. I don't. I'm tired of it.
Yeah, I think we've had enough for the last 12, 15 years. We've been under that kind of pressure nationwide where you're always looking over your shoulder for one reason or another. And I think that it's about time that we step away from being the world's police for a little while and kind of worry about our issues
That
here.
I agree with 100%. And I'm going to give you my last words on the Middle East. They hate us.
Absolutely.
Actually,
unequivocally.
the ones that hate us the less are the people in charge of all of the countries, because most of them went to either European or American schools.
Yeah, right. They're educated here.
Everybody else hate us. They hate us.
Well, they're indoctrinated. Their mindset from birth to 20s is about how much we are bad. We are the evil. We are the reason they're living on dirt floors.
I don't care how they get there. Whether they do it from 5 to 10 or from 15 to 25, I don't care how they get there.
They're there.
They hate us.
They hate us. Yeah.
That's it. That's the bottom line.
And that's what the madrasas preach. They preach hatred to Americans, and that's what the Quran interpretation that they have and that they teach their kids and their community and their population is the hate of the West.
But you know what? I can relate to that because I'm indoctrinating my children whenever I get there to hate the Jets the same way. So.
Oh, man.
I've already done that. You're right. I can relate. Layla already says, Jets.
Right. So we'll go to break. We'll come back. We'll try to figure out how to gas Jet fans on the way out, and we'll talk some football on the way back.
Here we go. The ball goes out back of the end zone, and that means the Browns will start 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line. The Miami Dolphins 40-yard line. Blitz coming, back to throw, get pressure, but gets it off. He wants Benjamin up, and it is picked off right at the goal line for the Miami Dolphins by Rashad Jones. Leading back to throw over the middle, and it is nearly picked off by Patterson. It hits the ground, though. You got a challenge out here. Joe Philbin was out. I think he's trying to say that the ball was taken in by Patterson.
After review, the defender had clear control of the ball and maintained it through the process of going to the ground, and therefore it's an interception.
Action fake, leads back to throw again. Plenty of time, over the middle, ball up into the air, and it's picked off! The Dolphins have their 3rd interceptions, and Patterson is 2nd. He's still on his feet, reverses field, still running with the football, and down to the 22-yard line. Amazing! 1st and 15, Weed finally goes down to sack, and it's about time Cameron Wake, with his 1st sack of the season. Back to throw, Weed looking, getting pressure, and he'll go down. A 2nd sack, Cameron Wake, his 2nd of the afternoon.
He never gives up.
Play action fake, Tannehill back to throw, fires, wants it deep. Got Hartline, touchdown! What a great throw and catch!
Wow, Brian Hartline beat his man by a step, comes back home and gets himself a touchdown.
1st and goal from the 1. Dives, and he got into the end zone. Touchdown.
Oh, man. What a drive.
Daniel Thomas just took the ball, left his feet, soared into the end zone.
85 yards, huh?
Here it comes. 4th and 2. Devon Bess in motion. Grimes chasing him. Pressured. Sack by Cameron Wake, his 3rd of the day.
Patrick. Oh, that's why he goes to Pro Bowls right there. What a play by 91.
That'll do it. The Miami Dolphins defeat the Cleveland Browns 23-10.
Is this the rap? Was this the rap that you said you had one rap?
Yeah. This is the same guy from my last musical choice, New Job S.
Okay. What's the show for this song?
Samurai Champloo. Same group that did the last show. Instead, they went kind of what they did for Afro Samurai.
Did you just call that Samurai Shampoo?
Champloo. There's an L in there.
Oh, Shampoo?
Yeah, I never understood the name either.
That's like 6-pack shampoo. The rapper?
I don't know what that is.
You never heard of 6-pack shampoo?
No. Anyway, So this one they went with rap and I believe it is Tokugawa era samurai.
Right.
What language are you speaking?
Tokugawa was a guy.
Tokugawa samurai. What is that?
It's a group in Japan that owned the island for 200 years.
God, please help me.
Look, I'm sorry you don't like world history, bro.
Yeah, you ignorant prick.
So close-minded.
Out of everyone here.
The world of animation history, musical animation history, is not high on my list of. It's not really considered
No,
world history.
Tokugawa's legitimate history. That's history.
Is he related to Sun Tzu? Did he write The Art of War 2 or something?
No, Sun Tzu is in China, bro.
Wait a second. So what's this show about?
Basically, it's a group, 2 samurais and a girl, and they travel looking for someone the girl's looking for, and they kind of hit various things in history along the way. Like they meet some of the early Americans who get to Japan. They meet some famous Japanese samurai from that era, and it's just kind of that. This one's a little less meaningful than Bebop. So it's just kind of them going on that adventure.
Was this the soundtrack on Tom Cruise's movie?
No.
The Last Samurai? No.
No.
Why is it that the white person always saves the natives? Last Samurai.
When there's no
Avatar,
truth to that at all. It's
Pocahontas.
completely the opposite. Normally the white guy annihilates the natives. So why do we
Not
have
in the
to
movies.
Not in the movies.
Not in
We
the
know
movies.
well in the movies. Wow, the movies have strange heroes.
That's what we're talking about, though. The Last Samurai. The white guy's the Last Samurai. Literally, Avatar. They're the natives, and it takes one guy laying down in a coffin in order to save them.
You mean John Smith?
And John Smith. Yeah, it's all the same.
Same
thing.
movie as Avatar.
It's all the same.
It's all the same thing, bro. A white guy saves world.
The more you know. The NBC.
And knowing is half the battle. G.I. Joe.
Can we set rules and parameters to this music thing? I mean,
Nope. I told you. I'm going to do it once. I'm just going to show up with music from not this country. And
but
not a language
it's
you
not
speak.
even an album. You're violating the rules.
We did that long ago, bro.
No, we haven't.
Yeah. I've done it at least twice.
Yeah, he hasn't
I
lived by that rule
I
in a
never
long
end up
time.
because I'm not much music, man.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's not because you want to. It's because
No,
you
I don't really have
to.
a choice because the other choice was to do Lupe or Linkin Park again.
Yeah,
and
no.
that just seems wrong.
Hey, like I told Chris when he drafted Chris Ivory, the pass is
Oh,
always
God.
available.
No, I love torturing you guys.
What a joke.
I
that
love the
was.
idea of
How many points did Ivory
George.
give you this week?
He gave me 3
3 points.
if
If he'd have just been decent, you'd have had a shot. If he'd have given you 20, you'd have had a shot.
halftime in the U.S.-Mexico game. It's still 0-0. I saw the scoring. So Costa Rica's won in the first slot with 6 points. The United States is second with +2, I guess, off 2 draws. And then third place is some other country, and then Mexico's on the out.
Yeah.
So Mexico has to win in order to get into the final play,
It'd
basically,
be nice for the U.S. though to get a W here and kind of secure themselves.
and to kick out Mexico.
Yeah, get Mexico out of the way.
Boy, football's back, and
God, thank God.
we had the Dolphins actually play a meaningful game in about 7 months? When was the last time they played?
Do you want to hear
December?
You want to hear your aunt's comments? My wife's comments.
What
last
was
night?
it?
She said, "For next week, we got to plan something because football from 10 in the morning to 12 at night is tough. I got to
Yeah,
do
it was
something
a
with these
long
kids."
day.
I said, "Hey, you're welcome to do whatever you want with the kids."
Yeah, it's a
You know,
long
so
day.
we got to plan. What she meant really was we got to plan food because we ate like at 2:33. Then we didn't have dinner till like,
Yeah.
nobody
No,
was
she
ready for
didn't.
dinner. So
No,
we
she
have to.
didn't.
You have to eat early.
She meant you're not watching football next week from 10 o'clock in the morning to midnight.
Well,
That's what she said.
unfortunately,
And Chris
that
isn't
doesn't
allowed
run.
back because he eats all the food.
that doesn't run.
And that fat pig
Oh,
ain't
yeah.
coming back.
Wait, so you're the
Again,
culinary terrorist?
Let's continue to get off the subject, but those sausages were damn good.
Yeah, they were good.
I smoked sausages in orange wood from an orange tree. Oh my gosh, 6 hours smoking and those things were good.
It was delicious. Do you still have left over? No, right?
2 more.
Oh my
I
god.
had 2 for lunch today.
Yeah,
so I
you
left
made
2.
40. You made 30. It was
I made
so many.
I made the whole pack.
Holy, how many people were there?
Just me.
6.
Holy crap, Chris, you're a damn pig.
Just me.
I wanted to make sure we had food, bro. Your decision not to come is your problem. Not mine.
I was there to watch the Dolphin game. The opener to this segment was the 2-minute Dolphin that the guys here at work, they set it up, and it basically recaps all the highlights or lowlights. I have to talk to them. Why in the world would they ever play a referee making a call in the middle of that thing? It's terrible.
That needs to stop.
It's terrible. Well, I'll give them credit, I guess, or give them a pass. There weren't many highlights in that game. What a boring game.
It was. It lacked a lot of.
The first half was boring. The second half wasn't bad.
The second half was still boring, man. 23 points total for the Dolphins. It doesn't matter. They beat the Browns. The Browns have flaws and they have good aspects to it, but the Dolphins won. The Dolphins are 1-0, and a lot of teams half the league can't say that. So
no, exactly.
It's a good. It's
a way to use a
win.
math trick. There.
Right now, they've got the best record in the league.
Right. They're tied for first place in the division. This will be the
A
only
lot of
week
time
that
you can
happens.
say it right. The only time you can say it this year, but hey, we can say it now. We're in first place in the division, and we're tied for the best record in the league.
Where did you, before we get into the actual game and going over some of the stuff that stuck out? Where did you guys end up seeing the game? You guys know where I was.
At the house. On my house.
I was at the
Did you
house
watch it with your brother?
No, and the reason why I was going to tell Carlos, which I didn't tell him Sunday, the reason why I didn't go is because I wanted to see my brother. And
that's what Chris told me.
The prick didn't call me back. Didn't nothing. I didn't even know. I haven't talked to him.
Oh yeah, I can smell it going mierda for the week. Mike.
Yeah.
So you just saw it at home? You saw it with Layla?
Yeah, I saw it with Layla.
I was at home with,
which is pretty good company.
Alan?
I was at home. No one says anything. Okay. I was at home.
Wow.
I watched it with Half Beard, Jason, and friend of the show, Pez. So we got to watch that game and the Green Bay game for the night. And then I sank into a cave of depression since my fantasy day was over.
Right. It ended pretty early.
Yeah.
What happened, man? What was that sigh for? You want to say something?
That's the sigh.
I have the control to turn your mic off.
I was very confident with my fantasy team.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching, and I was calm. At no point did I panic, and I actually told you what was going to happen, and boy, they came to fruition.
I won with my fantasy team.
You won your fantasy game? Excellent.
I'm trying to look up the box score. Oh, there it is right there. So the Dolphins, they defeat the Cleveland Browns 23-10. The first half of it was rough to watch, man. Yeah, I kept saying it. The first half, even this whole game, we've seen this game for 10 years. Not as many turnovers, but it's a defensive struggle. At half, it's 6-7. There's really no excitement on either side of the ball. And then the second half, they picked it up. Ryan Tannehill threw a nice touchdown, and then what was it, Daniel Thomas that ran it in?
Yeah.
That was
that vulture.
That was a hell of a throw. That was a really nice throw.
To Brian Hartline, right?
Ryan Tannehill played better than he should have played in that game.
Mm-hmm.
He was constantly moving. He was getting a little pressure.
They sacked him 4 times.
The O-line did not do well.
No.
There was no running game. They didn't find holes when they were hosed a few times, and the majority of the time there weren't any holes.
Right.
Mike Wallace could not shake Hayden. You know what? I'm getting a little. It's game 1, and I'm already getting a little frustrated with the Mike Wallace makes everybody else better
soap
line,
opera,
because that's what they. Well, first of all, the soap opera, we traded Brandon Marshall away, gave him away for a number 2 or whatever it was. For 2 threes to eliminate soap operas, and then we bring another soap opera diva in. It looks like now. Having said all that, it's already game 1, but I'm already tired of all the experts and pundits saying that, he only had 1 catch, but he makes everybody else better. Look at the game that Brian Hartline had. Hey, look at the game that Brian Hartline had 16 times last year. The same game.
Right.
Basically. He did nothing for Brian Hartline. He had the same game he had 16 times last year. What did he do for Brian Hartline? Again, please don't lose sight of the fact that this man, there were 34 receivers in the last 2 years that have caught more footballs in the NFL than Mike Wallace. 34 receivers have caught more footballs than Mike Wallace. He's not special. He's just fast. He was the most special of the free agents. He was the best of the free agents.
Right.
But he's not. He's not Anquan Bolden.
Well, let's get down into a little bit. We'll start there with Mike Wallace and the offense. Mike Wallace was targeted 5 times.
Yes.
The whole game. He made 1 catch for 15 yards. Brian Hartline had a nice game, 9 receptions for 114, and he also had a touchdown, a nice touchdown again. It was a good out route, and Tannehill hit him. Tannehill himself, he had a good game, I guess. He was 272 with 1 touchdown, 1 pick, and he was sacked 4 times, like Jorge said.
Yeah.
Well, what was your impression of Ryan Tannehill? Now, mind you, Cleveland has a very good front 7. And they have what was the corner that you said? They
Hayden.
had
Joe Hayden. Joe Hayden from Florida.
And Hayden's good.
Hayden's very good.
Hayden's good. So against a solid defense, how did Ryan Tannehill look for you as a Dolphin fan?
I mean, he was 24 for 38. So I think he completed the ball. One of the things that I wanted to see from Ryan was to stay within the tackle box and kind of move and shift and shift around a little bit. And I think he did that pretty well. And he made what I thought were pretty good decisions with the football. That 1 pick, I thought that was a bad throw. It was a bad decision to throw where he threw it. But I think that overall, he made really good decisions with the ball. My fear is now that Mike Wallace running his mouth is going to make him try to throw the ball a little bit more to Mike Wallace when he shouldn't throw the ball to Mike Wallace, and that could hurt the team. Yeah. I like the fact that he tries to get the ball 6 to Hartline, 4 to Clay, 8 to Boobie Gibson, and then 5 to Mike Wallace. And I think that's the way it should be.
Mano de Piedra Gibson.
Mano de Piedra. We dropped 3.
Yep.
Caught 8, but dropped 3.
How do you look to you, Dio? How do you look to you?
I actually was impressed with him, and I was happy, and I think he made he looked very comfortable in what he was doing, and he made very good decisions for the most part. He made a couple of mistakes, but for the most part, he made pretty good decisions, and I was impressed with him, and I was happy with the way he performed. My God, they had 24 yards running, 20 carries,
23 total yards.
I mean,
about the third.
That's worse than
worst.
That's worse than Marino.
Yeah.
That's worse than Marino days.
Yeah.
I mean, they shouldn't have won that game. To be honest with you, he won the game. He did.
The thing that bothered me about Tannehill's performance, and it's something that happened last year. The guy is inaccurate, man. How many times? I mean, even to Wallace, he had Wallace. I remember one on the deep route, and it was just a regular fly,
right?
And he overthrew him. I thought the one thing is you can't overthrow Mike Wallace.
No, he's not as fast as they say he is.
And he.
No, Mike Wallace got bumped that's why he on the second one. The first one he was on the throne. The first bomb he threw to him, it was on the throne. Bad throw. The second one, Wallace got bumped.
No, Hayden took him out of the pattern.
He did. He took him out, and enough to Mike Wallace was complaining to the referees because he bumped him 40 yards down the line. So I didn't see an inaccuracy in his throws, to be honest with you.
I saw a few passes that I thought Tannehill could have made better plays, but then again, if Charles Clay is the guy that's stepping up, outside of Brian Hartline, you can't blame him for trying to force some balls. The rushing game, like you said, wasn't helping him.
No.
Daniel Thomas led with 14
yards.
Lamar Miller had 10 carries for 3 yards. This is Lamar Miller, the guy that it was okay to let Reggie Bush go. Now, mind you, it doesn't look good that Reggie Bush had a career game in Detroit, and he had over 190 total yards and a sweet reception. Did you see his catch?
That screen pass?
Yeah, man.
That was nice, huh?
And he made people miss, and he looked great.
It's a good thing the Dolphins couldn't use that.
Yeah. So it's bad comparison shopping, but dude, the offensive line is bad, but also Lamar Miller had a terrible game.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I see in Lamar Miller is a lot of head down and kind of trying to pick his way through the line. I don't see him seeing a hole and hitting a hole. And
there ain't no holes to hit.
And there were a couple of holes where he ran right into the back of a lineman. Those backs. I mean, you saw a different game, of course, and a different level of player. But Shady McCoy yesterday ran sideways. He caught the ball and he skirted. He did a Barry Sanders. He ran sideways for like 7 yards, having people miss him before he went upfield a yard. I mean, that's the kind of running that you need. And again, I understand that it's McCoy versus versus Lamar Miller, who's been in the league for 9 days. But, I want to see something. If that kid gets a hole, he's gone. You're not catching him.
No, yeah.
But he needs to be able to find a hole.
The offensive line looked bad.
Yeah, they're
terrible.
The offensive line looked
terrible.
bad.
It was 2 spots that didn't move, and the other 3 just kept collapsing backwards the
Right.
whole way.
Right. Yeah, they looked bad. I don't know. It's going to be a struggle going forward. I mean, especially on the offensive side. We knew that the defense was going to be good with their front 7, but offensively, if Ryan Tannehill doesn't have time, he won't let Mike Wallace get open, and then there's going to be no running room for Lamar Miller. If Daniel Thomas, oh my God, he led with 14 yards. That's terrible. That's terrible. But I would say one positive for the offense was Charles Clay.
Yeah.
Yeah, where the hell did that come from?
Charles Clay stepped up. He had 5 catches for 54 yards, and he looked good.
Oh, but all flats catch.
Flats.
Well,
All
let's
flats.
be honest.
There's a big difference, though, catching the ball down the middle of the field and flats catching.
Most completions for that game, though, were off the flats.
Yeah, Tannehill doesn't have time to throw bombs.
No. But, I think that we need to kind of reevaluate. Remember where football is going right now? The running game is really not that important. I don't think that the Dolphins need to run the ball as often to be successful.
Not for 20 yards.
Obviously, more than 20 yards would be nice. But I think that he can throw the ball 30, 35 times, and the Dolphins can be successful. I think Ryan Tannehill is only going to get better if we protect him. That's the part of the line that I'd like to see strengthened.
A point to you, there was only 3 people that ran for over 100 yards last week, and one of them was a quarterback. There was only 2 running backs, Shane Vereen and LaShawn McCoy, that ran over 100 yards last week.
Yeah, I mean, even Peterson went 1 for 70-something and then had like 9 yards after that.
Yeah, he had 90.
So,
he ended up with 98.
Yeah, 98.
So
like
I'm really believing that the NFL is not only more of a passing league. That's obvious. That shouldn't even be said. But I don't think you need a runner to win in this league.
But you would still want then pass catches from your running back.
Yes, that I think is an important thing.
Lamar Miller had 1 catch. Daniel Thomas had 1 catch for 13 yards total. It's not really – Brian Hartline and Gibson were the only guys that really made moves.
Yeah, but even
in regards
then,
to catching.
even then, like we said before, a lot of that stuff was crossing in the flats, stuff inside their zones that they weren't gonna break any games open with. That's the problem. Everything is in the flats or running into the line with the running back.
Was Boobie Gibson? I can't believe we're all calling him that. Was Boobie Gibson just for week 1 already an improvement than Devon Best?
No.
I would say.
See, I was gonna ask that question when George was talking about him because I have an opinion, but I've had too many.
Yeah, no, I'm asking the
I
question.
don't think so because if Devon Best was running around the flat open underneath the zone all game, he's gonna catch everything anyway. So I mean, I didn't really see a difference there. It was nice to have something. The number 2 be Hartline instead of the number 1 because Joe Hayden would have eaten him alive.
Yeah.
But there wasn't really that much of a pickup for that spot.
I don't know, man.
I was going to tell him.
Peterson's better than Hayden, and he took Peterson to school last year for Arizona and had his career game.
You talking about Hartline?
Yeah. Again, I'm not one of those guys that's going to tout Hartline as a number 1. I guarantee, absolutely, he's a number 2 receiver.
He's a very good number 2.
He's a very good number 2, but I think he would have done the same. I think he would have had his 7 or 8 catches against Hartline. And again, I do not believe that Mike Wallace is having any impact on the game as far as receivers.
So what'd you say about Boobie Gibson then?
I think they're interchangeable. I would have loved to have kept Devon Best. I think they could have kept Devon Best. Money-wise, there was no issues. They could have brought Gibson in and kept Best and kind of bring them in and out and had 4 solid receivers, which right now we don't have. We only got 3 receivers.
Right.
So I would have liked to have kept him, and I think that it's the same receiver. The same receiver is 2 inches taller, an inch and a half taller.
This was this. I mean, with all the weapons on offense and the changes on offense and Tannehill another year, wasn't this the same basic offense that we saw last year? So far, week 1, I know it's week 1.
The problem is they could not be effective at all running the ball. I mean, I don't know. I was going to tell you that I think a better gauge of where the Dolphins are, it's going to be this week coming up against the Colts. I mean, they could not run the ball. I mean, he was running for his life.
Tannehill
was.
I think you're going to see that in, this week for both teams because I don't think the Colts are going to run the ball either. They're going to run the ball for 30, 40 yards too.
Yeah, that team is.
That's going to be. I think that's a pretty if you look at the teams, there's kind of mirror images there.
Yeah.
The tight end situation is not great on either side. You got one experienced receiver in Reggie Wayne, and you got, our number one in Wallace. They got, Ty Hilton, and we got Boobie Gibson, and, or Mark Hartline. Mark
Hartline.
Mark Hartline. It's like change the poor guy's name.
That's
man.
fine.
Brian Hartline's name.
Brian, Mike.
So I think that's a pretty evenly matched game, and let's see where they go.
Should you be concerned that we're evenly matched with a team that won one game like 2 years ago?
Yeah,
They were a playoff team last year.
They were on the strength of their quarterback.
Right.
That roster wasn't great either.
Which numbers wise, break those things down, not much different from Tannehill's.
No, it's not. It was
quarterback rating, touchdowns, intercept, not much different from Tannehill's numbers.
The United States just scored off a nice cross against Mexico. Who is that? Anderson? Who was the one that headed that in there?
I can't hear you over the sound of George.
That's the dude.
That's it. Yeah.
They're waiting for him to turn around because
Just
they can't
say
see
it.
his name.
Just say it.
Johnson.
Okay. Well, the United States, they went up 1-0 in the 45th minute. It just started.
Yeah.
Yes.
48, something like that.
Yeah, just started.
So that's good for the United States. Back to the Dolphins, though. What do you say this? Because I want to talk about all the bad stuff first, and then I want to really get into the defense because the defense looked very good. Very good. Cam Wake is a monster.
Him in his medium jersey.
Randy Stark should be starting.
We'll get to a few gestures that Randy Starks did. I don't know if you guys caught it. I posted it on Facebook.
Oh, I definitely. I know what you're saying.
So, what do you make of Mike Wallace then complaining after the game that he wanted more touches and he didn't want to talk to the media, and he's like, it's up to the coach, whatever. Just it didn't look good media wise for the Dolphins after one game.
It didn't because they won, and it seems innately selfish, which I think that position kind of lends itself to being selfish.
Right.
Because if you don't get your touches, what the hell are you worth? I've also heard an argument that the fact that it was against the Browns, a team he played 2 times a year, and Hayden, it's a guy he faced very often. He was a little embarrassed that he was a non-factor. This early in the season, I'm not particularly concerned about it because it's the first game. He had a bad game, he wants to bitch, okay, whatever. If it continues, then it's a problem.
Well, let's do this. I have absolutely no preference of I didn't read through what this audio is. So let's just hear what Mike Wallace has to say.
It just wasn't a good day for me, Sometimes it's like that when you play football. It was just like that yesterday. I'm mad at myself just because I didn't have a good game. That's all. I'm always happy to win, but that's what we play for, to win. I expect to win, so I don't get overly excited when we win because every time we step on the field, that's what I'm there for. I'm not, if you see us win or you see us lose, I'm not gonna be jumping around either way because every single time we step on the field, I expect to win.
All right, all he did there was delete a tweet and say his account was hacked. That's basically what he said because. He's apologizing or changing his comments from yesterday because he caught so much slack for his comments. So let me hit delete and let me come back and say my account was hacked. This is what I really meant to say.
That's actually very fair. That's a good assessment of that.
Yeah, because the comments before I heard were ask the coaches. If you want to ask me about game plan, ask the coaches.
Yeah. I don't make decisions on where to throw the ball.
I'll be honest with you. I don't like them making any comments at all.
I agree.
I don't.
Oh gosh.
Crack the
one, not one bit. But at the end of the day, he got targeted 5 times, completed once, 2 bumps. That's 3 catches. The other 2, I don't even remember him being targeted.
I don't either.
They were crossing routes on the flat.
The guy's got to be open all the time. That dude has to be open all the time.
So what is that then on Tannehill?
No, it may be a combination of Tannehill and no time.
Wait a minute.
He's looking underneath the whole time.
Maybe he's not open.
Maybe. Or he may be doubling, but then he goes back to you're saying that, it doesn't help that Mike Wallace is in your team.
Well, I watched the game. We stopped it a couple times to go back and forth and see. He was doubled a few times, but he wasn't always doubled. Hayden locked him down and said, "You're mine."
Again, Hayden's very good.
No, he's a top 5 corner, top 6 corner in the league. No question about it.
How about this? What if part of it is the way that Tannehill had to deal with things last year, catching Hartline on very quick outs, very quick, excellent routes. He's not used to just throwing it at a great receiver to go get it.
No, don't use that word.
No. I don't mean it as in he's great, but I'm saying he's supposed to be a playmaker. You tend to just kind of throw it towards the playmaker and let them do their work. He's not used to that, and he's not used to trusting someone with that because he didn't have that at A&M either.
Wait a minute. Did you see Anquan Bolden?
No, that guy's a
He was catching balls with his hands, with his butt cheeks, with his feet. He was running through people. He made things happen. He got open. We were commenting during the course of the game. How is that man open?
He's always open.
He's not supposed to be open.
And he's like 150 years old.
And you and I are faster than he is, and he's open.
And he never drops a pass.
And exactly, it's suction cups.
This is funny to me because
I'm not a Mike Wallace fan.
Well, I know. We're very aware.
This is funny to me because this is the first diva wide receiver that I've faced as a Dolphin. Brandon Marshall, he had his problems, but he never complained about getting the ball.
Well, it's because they kept throwing it at him, and then he'd walk out of bounds after 5
Right.
yards.
So this is the first time as a Dolphin wide receiver. Can you guys look through your Rolodex and think of, I don't know, if the Cooper brothers or the Duper brothers, whatever they were.
Good musty reference, Chris.
Mike Cooper?
Yeah.
Rolodex.
They were the kind. I mean, you know what? You could ask. Should have Troy back on and ask him about some of those conversations in the huddle with Marino and Duper and Clayton. They would come back and always say, "I'm open, throw me the ball. I'm open, throw me the ball."
Right.
Yeah, but it was to Marino in the huddle.
Yeah,
They will not say that.
No, like that.
Not outside. Oh,
Shula,
no.
Shula will kill you.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing now.
He'll sell you for steak in his steakhouse.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first time that the Dolphins have had this before. I mean, he wasn't even like this in Pittsburgh. I don't remember him asking for Roethlisberger to get him the ball.
Well,
publicly.
first of all, he had Ben, and
Right.
and then on the sidelines, he's got a real coach.
So that's the heart of it right there.
You know what?
That's the
Again,
heart of it right there.
at the end of the game, he walks off the field. He's all depressed, and who comes to console him? Jeffrey. Jeffrey's walking off the field with his arm around
You
him.
saw that?
Come on, baby. Come on. Let's walk to the locker. I'll help you take your pads off. Come on, man. Give me a break.
You saw that?
Give me
Hey,
a
man,
break.
just remember, Mike Tomlin's too hip-hop for the Dolphins.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh,
That's true.
God.
That's true.
Let's get
legitimate organization stance right there.
let's get into the good part, the defense.
Oh,
Boy, did the defense look good.
the
Now, mind
defensive
you,
backs, they
now,
had
mind you-
hands.
Yeah, okay, that's one aspect, but let's put this in perspective. Brandon Weeden is probably the third or second worst quarterback in football.
No way.
Who's worse than he is?
Blaine Gabbert?
Yeah.
He's not playing.
Okay,
Chad
then
Henne's
Chad Henne
playing.
replaced him.
Whoever
Henne?
replaces him,
Chad
Henne?
Henne. I'd take Chad Henne over Brandon Weeden.
I won't.
Brandon Weeden looked terrible, and he is terrible. And
Uh,
that's it. You can't put Mark because
No.
Mark Sanchez isn't even playing.
Well, the Dolphin defense is going to make a lot of quarterbacks look bad.
But
this
he
year.
was bad last year.
Yeah,
he wasn't good last
He
year.
wasn't good. He's not a franchise guy, and I think everybody knows that. He's there because he is.
Dio, I know you're looking through it. You're trying to think of. There's not that many quarterbacks that are worse off than Brandon Weeden, and he's 28 years old. He's not a spring chick that you can just like. Tannehill's a young guy that will develop later
Christian
on.
Ponder.
Christian Ponder. Okay, I'll give you that.
Son of a bitch.
But this is like the bottom
Geno
of the barrel. Geno
Sanchez,
Smith. I mean, Geno Smith, I'd still
the
take
third
ahead
string
of him.
quarterback for the Jets. Anybody who plays quarterback for the Jets is worse than him.
No, Geno Smith, I'd still take over Brandon Weeden. Geno Smith made some plays.
He's in the bottom 10 quarterbacks in football.
He's terrible.
Yeah,
He's
He's in the
terrible.
bottom 10 quarterbacks.
He's I would say even lower than that. But anyway, the defense is good to make Brandon Weeden throw the picks like that, and he looked bad, and the defense was a part of it. They made interceptions. They caught the ball.
Oh my God!
What
so
was
nice.
that?
It's so nice to see
What the
defensive
hell
backs
was
with
that?
hands. They just don't knock it down like it's volleyball. God,
There were no spikes. There were no actually
No
catches.
spikes.
There were catches.
Did you see any Dansbys?
No.
I didn't see any Dansbys.
There weren't many Dansbys. There was a lot of sideline to sideline by Ellerby and Wheeler. They would go sideline to sideline, scrape, and make a play on the sidelines on the outside. I don't think Carlos Dansby and what's his name? What was the other guy? I forgot his name. It was so forgettable. I don't think they saw the sidelines except when they walked on and off the field. That's the only times they saw the sidelines.
And by the way, I didn't realize those two were so big.
Who are you talking about?
The linebackers?
Wheeler and Ellerby?
They're fucking huge.
Yeah,
They're big men.
Which makes it funnier that they're faster than Dansby and the other one.
Right.
Because
They're
they
big.
look like defensive linemen.
They're big.
Well, both
big
Wheeler
boys.
and Ellerby and Rashad Jones all led the team with 6 tackles.
Well, that's Sean Jones's strong point.
Rashad Jones, yeah.
Rashad Jones's strong suit is playing that run. He scares me when he's got to play the pass. but he's going to be there to whack somebody on the run.
Yeah, like a young Jeremiah Bell. Jeremiah Bell never made a play on the ball.
Right.
He was always there in the
He
tackle.
was looking to hit somebody.
The defense looked great, and Cameron Wake is a monster.
Will he get his due this year? Will they start naming him with the top 2 or 3 rushers in this league with Aldon Smith and the other guys?
I think Cameron Wake is looked upon.
You think he's really favorably looked upon?
Yeah.
Probably within football circles, yeah.
Yeah.
The problem is we won't hear about it.
Because he's on such a garbage team.
Yeah.
So irrelevant. Yeah.
So what?
He's
so
good.
what?
I said it already. You didn't hear it. Too bad for you.
He said irrelevant.
So blah, blah,
Thank
blah.
you.
He said irrelevant.
I didn't.
Very clearly.
You didn't say irrelevant.
No, I didn't.
He
I know you
enunciated it very well.
Thank you, Carlos.
You're welcome. George.
Carlos Dansby, he's listed with
Carlos with a K.
Carlos Dansby, sorry. Cameron Wake is listed at 2.5, but he really had 3. I mean, Starks sort of jumped in there at the end of the first sack of the game, but Cameron Wake was just and the offensive line of Cleveland is good.
That's a really good defensive line. When that defensive line sticks Paul Soliai on one side of the center, and you stick Stark on the other side of the center, and you put Olivier Vernon on the outside, and you put Cam Wake on the other side, and you put Deion Jordan on the bench behind the coach, that's one very formidable defensive line.
I'm sorry. No, he's got special teams.
Yeah, he's back there ready. He's back there with the special teams guys.
Waiting for the punch.
He's out there with number 44 with the orange and green hair. Yes, coach. I'm ready to go.
I was going to ask
I'm
you.
very impressed for a number 3 pick.
I was going to ask you what you thought of his 5 plays at the end of the game, but you swooped in, threw him on the bench.
He
played. He had 15 snaps. He had 1 sack.
That's pretty good.
Didn't he have another one that was
He had-
called off on the
he had a
penalty?
face mask.
The face mask.
Yeah,
Right?
No, that was it.
That was it?
Not a sack.
They don't take that stat away from you. They just give you the penalty. So that was the sack, the face mask of the face.
That's illegal. I wouldn't count it as a sack.
But yeah, I mean, I just want to keep talking about Cameron Wake.
Let's talk about Cameron Wake.
Cameron Wake. I mean, look where he came from. He played Canada ball.
Yes, the
And
Canadian
then
League.
they found him in the forest of Ontario eating goats off a chain link fence, and they signed him. And this is Ireland. This is your boy. They signed him, and he's been great. The first year he was here, we were wondering why wasn't he
Even a blind
playing
squirrel
enough.
finds a nut every once in a while.
Actually, he didn't find crap. He actually there was 4 or 5 NFL teams after him. He was the defensive player of the year in the
Canada.
CFL.
Yeah.
So it was not just that he found him and he was the only. No, the NFL fined him. He just wanted to sign, or give him more money, or whatever it was.
No, he was tired of the freaking cold.
Yeah, he said, "I'm going to Miami, nice and warm, and some Cuban
And
women."
thank God for that, because man, he's great.
He's a difference maker.
He's a playmaker.
That's a
on
playmaker.
defense.
That's a playmaker.
No, the last sack that he got against their fullback, that was it. I wish you recorded and you can see it. He's coming off the line and he sees him, and he wasn't with his hands. He went at him like he was going to tackle.
Chest.
He hit him with his shoulder, and the guy just flew back. I mean, he flew back, and as soon as he hit him, he went for the quarterback. The poor guy was sitting in the bench going, "I can't hold that dude. I can't hold that. Don't come and talk to me. I can't hold him."
A real bad idea.
One of the sacks, they had the running back. They had the
No,
running back.
That's what we talk about. That's when the back came over to
He's
try
not a
to
running
chip.
back. He's actually a fullback.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Yeah. No shot. He didn't even deviate from his path of destruction. There wasn't a slight movement. It was just he kept going.
Yeah, that's when I quickly sent out a tweet on that said, that's a real bad idea.
I got it. I got a tweet.
And he was so low the whole way through. It's not like he rose up for the running back. He stayed low the whole way, pushed him, didn't break stride, and then went right into the celebration, all at the same elevation.
I love that low celebration.
Then he rips off the medium shirt.
I'll tell you what, we had.
No, that's a Japanese cartoon. It's called Bitty Bob Space Cowboy.
Oh, yeah.
With that, we're going to take a break.
Gomen no sai.
Let's take a break.
I kind of want to make you suffer through the silence for what you just did.
I care. What's wrong with you, Chris?
Hit the button. Hit the button.
I'll be honest with you about Levitard going national. He's our best kept secret. Like, he's Miami's best. I base a lot of my opinions and it influences me heavily the way that he processes sports.
Yeah.
The way, and
Absolutely.
And now some schmuck in Virginia is gonna think the same way that I do, and I don't like that.
No, because I think what'll happen is a lot of those schmucks will think he's just a Miami homer, despite the fact that Miami kills him for not being a
he's
homer.
not a homer.
Well, no, he lives with that dichotomy. He's not a homer, but the minute he walks out of the city, everybody's, hey, LeBron lover, homer, LeBron. And then he comes back here. He doesn't love LeBron enough, and everybody, you Heat hater. You.
But you know
on.
what? A lot of his thinking is the reason why somebody in Ohio is not going to be able to do that is because a lot of his thinking is cultural. A lot of the way he frames his ideas and his delivery and his pitch is based on culture and how he thinks and how he was raised and his family ties. That plays a big part in how he thinks.
Yeah, no, but that means they're gonna be able to think. They're gonna be able to hear that opinion, and now, that was our best kept secret, man.
Yeah, but it's been on ESPN for a good year and a half.
But it's not the same. It's not even close to being the same. When he's on the radio, he actually delves into the topics. I'm starting to get annoyed with Bomani Jones on that show. He eats up so much time. I'm there to watch Levitard and Poppy.
That's the problem. The problem is you're there to watch Levitard. You want all Levitard.
What was it?
Which was
Levitard
my
said?
first comment to Anthony when Bomani first came on. I said, this is going to change the whole dynamics of the show because now I'm only going to get 30% of Levitard.
Yeah, man.
What was Levitard said? I think Bomani's a guy that will give you 50 words when you only really need 3.
Right. No,
I was
Bomani.
laughing his ass off at that.
He eats up so much time and so much of the air that you don't even get to hear Levitard's opinion. Levitard only adds on, and then Poppy has his 1 or 2 topics that he'll say something funny. But then on the radio show, you actually get to hear Levitard, and he combats with Stu Gatz. Like, he makes the national opinion, which is Stu Gatz most of the time, look foolish. And now people in, like, Georgia are going to be able to hear that opinion, and it kind of, I'm like, man, I want it just for us down here. That's our guy.
Yeah, I mean, it would really be cool to keep it that way, where we're the ones that get to see him, and because it's almost like a personal thing. He's like ours. He's our buddy. He's our friend.
Now, mind you, he has a national podcast, and people listen to it online. I get it, but now it's on the radio more. It opens it up to more people, and the same guys that like Cowherd are going to start listening to him.
What they said was, from 3 to 4 is still only local.
Right.
So what they might start doing is, like, that first hour, they're going to set up the inside jokes that they'll then deliver from 4 to 7, and only Miami will know it. While the other 3 hours, everybody in, like, Ohio's going to be like, I don't understand why they keep playing this Kirkshin thing with.
If that's the case, that'll be great.
But and that's their style. Like,
right?
How long did the what's this guy's name? They had a story about a baseball player, a black dude who played in Mexico, and how.
Oh,
you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yes, I know who you're talking about. The one with the big bat.
Yeah.
Oh, Julio Franco.
Julio Franco.
They had the story about the Mexican reporter. She went in, came out white.
Right.
And they played the Kirkshin bit for years.
White as who?
Huh? White as Hubie Brown.
Yeah.
Yes. But the Kirkshin, when he comes in, they played that Kirkshin talking about Julio Franco swinging this giant bat.
Yeah.
And for years, he never knew it. And that's the type of thing that I think they're going to carry over now going national. That we'll get the inside joke, and they'll have something going on during the national point that only we're going to laugh at. Because that intro, we all laugh because we all heard the original Julio Franco story.
Right. Well, they do that. I mean, I remember a funny interview that they did during the Radio Row Super Bowl when they had Jared from Subway and then they had Ryan Howard from Subway, and all they did was ask Jared questions. They didn't ask any questions to Ryan Howard.
Yeah.
And then when they had Ryan Howard on, they just asked him about Jared. Like, it was so funny.
Did you hear it the other day when they had what is her name? Not Phyllis Diller, but the other one. The other older white lady comedian, really funny. Joan Rivers. He had Joan Rivers on.
This is the one about the poker guy?
Where she hung up on them?
Yeah, she hung up on him.
Yeah, that she had called someone Hitler.
Right. She had called someone Hitler, and she hangs up on him, and he loses it because he didn't really want her to hang up, but he wanted to ask these questions.
Right.
That was really funny. That was good, too.
I think the best part of that one was, "Are you Jewish? Are you Jewish?" And Lewis was like, "I'm not." And in that little bit of silence, Dugat is, "I am." Well, then stop complaining about it. And he hangs up.
Stu Gatz is also a little his little tidbits to everything is great. It's great. It's great. You might not like his sports view, and
but he needs to be there to take the beating, which is, and I'm starting to get used to Cody now too.
Cody's funny. I've always liked Cody.
Well, I don't know if you've read him. Obviously, you guys don't know what newspapers are, but Cody's been writing in the newspaper for a long, long time, and I've been reading it since I was a kid. And Cody is the same in print as he is
the same dry
as he is in on the radio, which is really cool to hear now after I've been reading him for so many years.
He's gotten so bad his son won't intern on the days he's there. He's so old and crusty.
It's funny.
It's become funny because now they don't even bother with opinions. They just do things so he can be old and crusty and let it laugh at him.
Well, George is back. We'll go to break. This is just the bonus segment. We'll come back with the regular show.
Soldier, значит я и ответчик, и судья. Я стою на двух концах огня, огибая виражи, обгоняя смерть и жизнь. Я бегу сразиться с тенью лжи. Сколько в нити не плел обман.
Hey, Carlos, you're not even watching the music video. You can only imagine how the music video looks. Those are robot spiders.
They're actually tanks, oddly enough.
The robot spiders and people. Yeah.
What's funny is this the only show that I think had it not started with music and stuff, I could maybe that 0.001% chance Carlos might like.
Carlos is not even paying attention, man. What are you doing? Who are you texting?
What's that?
What's this show about, Alan?
It's Ghost in the Shell. It comes off of a movie from '95. They decided to make a series. That one is the opening to the second season. It is the best description I can give to you. It's like 24 with a little bit of sci-fi. A lot of politics, a lot of military, government stuff going on. It just happens to have, cybernetics involved.
What's the name of the show?
Huh?
What's the name of the show?
Ghost in the Shell. Yeah.
Let me ask you, let's delve a little bit, Alan, into how you find these shows. What determines, if these are the shows that you're promoting, what are the shows that are so out there that you're even like, this is too much for me?
Well, what ends up happening is I tend to watch the seasons as they happen in Japan. So when I see the new episode 1, huh?
What is your obsession with Japan?
They're easy to get the entertainment from, and they tell good stories.
Where do you get a Japan channel?
There's no channel. It's on the internet.
You Google Japan?
No. I go to a site. It gives me a torrent for a show. I watch the show. I delete it then.
Bro, are you a Maoist?
A what?
Are you a Maoist?
I don't know what a Maoist is.
Not only are you a geek, man, you're a freaking communist.
Oh, okay.
It's Japan. It's not freaking.
Japan's not.
It's not Vietnam.
Japan, bro.
It's not Vietnam.
Doesn't matter.
Oh my gosh.
Same thing.
So
I'll sample the first episode of a season and then shuffle it off. All the ones I've brought here, a lot of them are from the run on Cartoon Network, so stuff that I grew up with.
Okay.
Ghost in the Shell, late high school. It's the first season, and I watched it afterwards. I found the '95 movie. I watched it then too. A lot of more like what does it mean to be human type themes in the original movie that carried over into the series.
Right.
So again, the only thing that I brought that could be a Carlos one. George, don't worry about it. You don't have to see it.
You want me to tell you something?
Mm.
Jason,
Yes,
actually, my son actually watches some of this crap.
Himself, man.
Dude, I'm telling you, a lot of the stuff that you have on TV is from there to begin with. A lot of the old Transformers cartoons, Voltron, anything with robots, really. A lot of stuff came from Japan. They just did the voiceover.
Jason watches some of the shows.
Jason's 15 or 16. He's 20. He's a man.
Okay, and I watched shows from when I was 15. No different. There's shows I watch that I wouldn't give to Jason.
I understand, bro. I mean, I get you.
Yeah, thank you.
As
long as the SpongeBob fan is on my side.
Do you guys have any questions for Alan? I feel like I'm soaking up all the questions. I mean, it doesn't have to be necessarily about his shows.
Is there any particular part of Japan that you want to live in?
No, because the language is very difficult.
You do realize a really tiny little island takes like 17 hours to get there because my wife went there?
I'm aware. I've gone the other direction to Europe, so I'm aware of the long flight.
You'd be thin as a rail, too, because there's all walking and bikes.
I'm aware.
There's
that's
no cars.
That's why it's all lean meats. You don't eat much fatty meats because they don't have.
Tanks.
The Americans score again.
Landon Donovan this time scored it. Where's he been? That guy's been missing for a while.
I think he was
Japan.
stuck in Premier League.
In Japan.
With Ghost Rider. What's her name? Ghost what?
Ghost
Shell?
in the Shell.
Ghost in the Shell. That don't even, okay, never mind.
So I get it, man. I get sort of the draw to
No, you
this.
don't. You're just,
No.
you're just
Okay,
placating
okay.
him. You're placating him because you're friends and you like him and he's part of the show and you don't want to make him feel bad because I'm doing all the ridiculing of Japan.
Yes,
right now.
You are very bad.
I'm the bad guy.
You might be racist.
Yeah, I think he is racist.
Yeah.
Okay, can we finish the
Take a look at my eyes. Tell me I'm racist.
What does that mean?
My grandmother was Cantonese.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say because they can't open theirs. All right, so the
No, see that's a racist.
You're a racist.
The defense. Can we just finish the Dolphin talk?
Yes,
we didn't even get to finish.
We didn't.
The point that I wanted to talk about Cameron Wake before we get into anybody else on the defense. When Jason Taylor was here, Jason Taylor was exciting, but the way that he played the game wasn't like Cam Wake. Wake is eye appealing.
He's a beast.
Like
he's
the
an
way
animal.
he's ferocious. He'll push you over. Jason Taylor went around you.
Right.
He was fast enough to go around you, and he got interceptions. He got fumbles. He took it to the end zone, all the time.
Yeah, Cam Wake gets in that low stance, puts his
He's
slow.
physically, he looks big.
Yeah.
Like this, it's exciting to watch him play. Now Jason Taylor's a Hall of Famer. At least he's in the honor roll for the Dolphins. Cam Wake, if he continues his path, he could get right there. But for me, it's just more fun to watch him than it was Jason Taylor, especially towards the end of his
He's a much more physical player.
You don't agree? You don't agree?
I do. I mean, the hard part for Wake is I think he started a little later, and Jason Taylor's got the moniker of being the most prolific scorer at the defensive end position. So he's got a lot of historical value. I don't know if Wake will be able to get to that point. I do agree when Wake hits the right path and gets to the quarterback, it is more powerful, more explosive. Where usually JT was slippery, and he got there, he got you with an arm.
Right.
But I also think JT might have had more support with Bowens and Zach Talamis.
True.
Whereas we're throwing out
Koamisi.
No, I mean, I don't think so, man.
And we'll have him for the next 3 years because we just extended him.
You know what? I'm so glad when stuff like that happens because I know I'm going to hear from you. It makes my day to hear a crap on Ireland text.
Incredible.
What are your thoughts on that then? That Koamisi got the extension. Not Randy Starks, not Soliai, not Cameron Wake,
Koamisi. And that's my problem. I mean, we got a guy that we've had now for 3 years that we're still waiting for him to make a game-changing play. Still waiting, and he gets extended. Randy Stark makes plays week in and week out, and Randy Starks has been, franchised, and that's basically an insult because you get hurt.
He will not be with the Dolphins next year.
He'd be an idiot to sign with the Dolphins. They're gonna throw money at him, and he's got to go because right now, even if the Dolphins match, I'd walk away just to prove to them that I'm going to leave.
Well, they can't sign Soliai and Starks at the same time. They can't. They'll ask for too much money, especially at that position.
Yeah.
So one of these guys is gone, which is unfortunate. Because it's been a strong suit for this defensive line. It makes it so good.
Yeah.
We're going to get Audric. Is Audric going to fill in?
But that's what you don't do, man. You don't sign Audric, you don't sign Koamisi, and you sign a Soliai, and you sign Starks. Those are the guys that are going to run your line.
By the way, breaking news: the president considering diplomatic and military action in Syria, because he just spoke He just spoke to the American people. I get the update here through work, so that's that. Yeah, the defense looked great. Listen, Dimitri Patterson, is that his name? What was his name?
Yes,
yeah,
Dimitri
Dimitri Patterson made 2 picks. Nolan Carroll made 1 pick. They had 16 turnovers total last year, and they have 3 already this year in the first game. It's miles difference. It's
not
already
the
an
stat.
improvement.
That's not the stat that impressed me. The stat that impressed me, we kind of tiptoed around it earlier. The stat that impressed me was they caught the ball. They had 3 opportunities.
Yeah.
They had 3 opportunities to pick, and they came away with 3 picks.
Right.
We didn't have one of those almost picks. We had 3 opportunities to take it, we took it.
Sean Smith.
They also held
Vontae
Trent
Davis.
Richardson to 47 yards. Trent Richardson is a man beast, and they put him in check for the most part.
Again, we alluded to that. Not only is Trent Richardson good, that offensive line is damn good.
Yeah,
and you're
very
going to
good.
see it next week and the week after that when they start posting up 100+ rushing games because Trent can run the ball.
The one aspect of the defense that was negative, and it's been like that for years, is that they can still not cover a tight end. Jordan Cameron had a monster game. He started for me in fantasy, but he had 9 receptions, 108 yards, and a touchdown. Tight ends always kill the Dolphins. It seems like whoever's at linebacker, they just cannot
it's the
cover.
linebacker and whoever's at that free safety position that just can't do it. And if it's Rashad Jones, that's going to be a problem for a very long time.
Well, Chris Clemens plays the free safety.
That's true. And Chris Clemens, I'm not as much as I don't like Rashad Jones. I'd like Chris Clemens less.
So the Dolphins, okay, what would you give them? I mean, are you impressed? Are you right now? This is what we'll do each week. Are you leaning more positive or negative about this team, even during a win? Which way are you swaying right now? 'Cause
Me?
You can't be the same. Yeah,
Positive.
You're swinging more positive
Yes.
now because
I really liked the way Tannehill played.
yeah,
I really did.
that's fair.
I'm going to move a little positive because I was pleasantly surprised by that defensive line on how solid they were, how good the defensive backs are when they have hands attached to their wrists. And that offense, it didn't do anything, but it wasn't bad.
Mhm.
Like it wasn't butt fumble bad. So for now, I'm okay.
Positive. I'm encouraged. I'm not encouraged enough to pick them to win this week, but I'm encouraged that the team is moving in the right direction. I think that Tannehill is a good quarterback. I think that if he can stay upright the majority of the game, I think that he's going to do well. And I think that offense is going to get better. I don't think the running game is going to get much better, but I do think the offense is going to get better.
Has he done anything for you three to prove that he's going to be the quarterback of the future for the next 10 years yet?
No, not yet.
Not yet?
Not yet, because you can't know right now. He has a line that collapses around itself, except for 2 spots on the line.
Right.
Everything just dies. He gets no support from running backs, whose only running lane is between those 2 decent offensive linemen. That can't work every time, so it's hard. He doesn't have the support in front of him. He seems to have some skill on the outside. He doesn't have any support in front of him. And with all that, he's still not butt fumble bad. So, it's a positive, but it's not enough to prove anything right now.
Yeah, there's not enough body of work
Yeah.
for you to form an opinion whether he's – I think he's got all the
what
tools.
about-
Physically, he's got all the tools to be a tremendous quarterback.
I'm tired of tool talk. Chad
Well,
Henne had tools.
I mean, it's the only thing you can go by. The kid has only played for a year in 1 game.
Is Russell Wilson, RG3, Andrew Luck?
Russell Wilson didn't
Cam
look that
Newton.
good yesterday.
Right, but is he
The day before yesterday.
has-
RG3 didn't look that good the day before yesterday.
are for you? Are they the quarterbacks for the next 10 years for their teams?
I think RG3, if he stays healthy, yes. Luck, absolutely. Wilson, I'm not
Luck is
sure
in
of.
another conversation.
Wilson, I'm not so sure of yet, because it wasn't a good start last year. Then it got good, and now it apparently was a little slow last week.
Let me tell you, Seattle. Sorry, he walked into a great situation.
No,
Seattle was a good team without him. Okay, I mean Tannehill. Look,
Well, they weren't a good team. They were 7-9.
No, they were solidly built around a
They were
mediocre
okay.
quarterback.
yeah, they had a very good defense. They didn't have a very good quarterback, and they didn't have very good receivers. So
They had a good running game, a good all
yeah,
line.
they were the Dolphins pretty much.
And they have great guys rushing the passer. Next week they face the Indianapolis Colts. Andrew Luck, George's man crush. They didn't look that dominant against Oakland. They beat Oakland 21-17, but they didn't look that dominant. And Oakland's not that good a team. Now, Terrell Pryor, he surprised a lot of people running the ball. I mean, Terrell Pryor was outstanding. But Andrew Luck had an okay game, and their defense was okay. You know, they ended up with 127 rushing yards and 147 passing yards. So the Dolphins going into Indianapolis, are you more confident now after this game, or are you a little bit more fearful seeing what Indianapolis was able to do and the way that the offense struggled?
I feel the same. I'm not sure how our offense is going to survive. I don't know if they'll put up points. As far as the defense, they'll stuff the run again because, as my fantasy team could attest, their running backs suck.
Yeah.
Ahmad Bradshaw's apparently not in game shape. Thank you, buddy. And Vic Ballard is not that good. I would be, as you would be, concerned about the tight ends because they've got young tight ends. I wouldn't say they're very gifted, very well known, but they are young. And I think one of them played with Andrew Luck, so I can expect that to be exploited if we're so bad against the tight ends. I'm not feeling I'm positive about the team, but they'll still lose that one.
You guys, I mean, are you more positive, more negative? What is it?
I'm absolutely more positive. I at the beginning I thought that they'd get handed this game to them. I didn't see. I don't think that there's that disparity offensively between the two teams. And I do believe that the Dolphin defense is that much better than the Colts defense is. So I think Andrew Luck's going to struggle a little bit, and I think if we pressure him, I don't think he's going to have the kind of game that he had last year, that 300-plus passing game. I don't think that's happening again. So I think that although I don't pick them to win the game, to win 2 weeks in a row on the road, I do pick them to keep it close.
I like it. I like the way the Dolphins were able to throw the ball. Their running game is gonna. I feel like it's gonna be like that for they won't average more than 100 or they won't average more than 70 yards a game.
Yeah, I agree.
Like it's gonna be a struggle, especially that offensive line is atrocious. The offensive line is so bad, but the defensive line is great. Cameron Wake is a stud.
Yeah,
Cameron Wake could be on his way for Defensive Player of the Year. I think he's gonna have that kind of year. Really quick, Jordan.
Hold on a second. Can I express my opinion on the Colts?
Go for it.
Never mind.
Oh, what is it?
Go ahead. Deion Jordan, what? I feel left out. I feel discriminated against.
You too, huh?
By the way, if the USA wins today, they'll qualify for the cup because there was another team that lost or something.
They're on their way.
They clinch.
Yeah.
They're like 2 minutes away from clinching it.
Yeah. Well, if that's what I'm saying.
What's your thing on the Colts? Come on.
I actually think they're going to win the game.
You think so?
Yeah. I will have to change my pick.
The Dolphins to beat
Yes.
Indianapolis.
You want me to write that down, George,
Yes.
on the official record?
Carlos, do you change your opinion of the Dolphins?
No, we all had them as a loss. George wants to change it.
No, I still believe they'll lose the game. I think it'll be a closer game, and I think it'll come down to that fourth quarter.
A closer game than what? Than last year?
Than what I had anticipated.
Oh. Okay.
I had anticipated the Dolphins that the Colts would move the ball a little bit easier and the Dolphins wouldn't move the ball. I think the Dolphins will move the ball, and I think they'll move it in the air. I think that's something that they're going to be able to do. I think this might be one of Tannehill's bigger games that he's played. I think he's going to throw for about 300 yards in this game. So that's what's going to keep this game tight.
I would like to change my pick and put a win there.
Plus or minus one catch for Mike Wallace.
Plus.
In
the first quarter.
So he'll be happy.
Yeah, they'll definitely go out of their way, which that's the part that concerns me.
I don't think they're going to go out of their way. I'm going to be honest with you.
I would hope not. I would really hope not.
And this I got from Tannehill from the very beginning. He looks so calm and so in charge when he's out there that to me, and this year it's not as impressive to me as it was last year. I mean, rookie quarterbacks come in and you can see, when they do close-ups, you can see it in their eyes.
Yeah.
They're like, holy crap. He looks so calm always. And I like that. Because,
Well, another angle is
Brady
if there's a
that.
quarterback that's going to be able to understand Mike Wallace to some extent, wouldn't it be Tannehill coming from that position? He was a receiver. He kind of understands the give me the damn ball.
He actually made a comment to that today. I just don't recall what it was.
He better look confident. He better look cool and calm and all that stuff. He's been in this offense for 4 years.
He's been in this offense for more than 4 years, but he's played as a quarterback for 4.
Right. So you better be calm out there. I expect that. I haven't seen anything yet of a quarterback coming from college into the pros and having the exact same offense, the exact same coach. It's insane. So
it is.
If it's anything different, I'd be upset about it. Because listen, bro, you know all the play calls. You knew all the play calls coming in, and that's a lot. Isn't that some of the hardest stuff that I hear from rookies doing, handling the playbook?
Yeah, it's handling the playbook.
That and speed.
The speed of the game is an obvious one that everybody will toss around all the time. What I find, talking to all these college kids that come to our camp, that come and go during the season, what they talk about is knowing the playbook, being able to recognize and change on the fly.
Right.
It's called reacting instead of thinking. When you're on the field and you think, you're lost. When you react is when you're good. That's when you know that the game has slowed down for you. That's when you know that you have complete command of the playbook, whether it's offensively or defensively, and it's a lot easier on defense because it's a much more instinctive part of the game. On offense, you have to know it and have it internalized where it's muscle memory and it's instant reaction. You can't think. Once you think against those defenders who are not thinking, you're done. You're absolutely done. So that's one of the things that I've learned, dealing with these young men that play at that level.
There was one quarterback, and this will be a little teaser going into the next segment. There's one quarterback that looks like he's playing on another realm than everybody else. Mind you, it's week 1. It was week 1, but it looked like he was playing on a different. The game looked so easy to him, and he hasn't been playing in the league for a very long time. So you'll find that out next. Don't go anywhere.
Who's that? Andrew Luck?
I want everyone to take a deep breath and relax.
I feel like I'm in a fucking spa.
Now close your eyes and think of a time
Listen to a happy ending.
when you were apart. Shh. Welcome back to the Sports Table. We're having a heated debate off
6th
air.
against the run, 17th against the pass in 2004.
They won what? 14, 15, 13, and
That year they went 14-2 again. Back-to-back 14-2 years.
Right.
Isn't that during the streak where they didn't lose a home game for a ridiculous amount of time?
Right. We're talking about the New England Patriots being dominant. And the point that I was saying was not that Brady's not good. I think Brady's one of the best. The point that I was making was that he's had a lot of talent along the way. Both on defense, offense, coaching,
Yes, it's
GM
shifted
moves.
around him, yeah.
I even give you coaches, which I don't agree with, but I even give you that.
George, before any other team, they dumped the run for a pass-happy league. And before any other team, they've dumped receivers for tight ends. They're always a little bit ahead of everybody. That helps Brady out. So when the rest of the league is built to stop one thing, Belichick adjusts and changes it, and then you have Gronkenstein running down the middle of the field.
Yes. But he adjusts and change because he can.
No, he can because of Brady.
He's got number 12 to take the snap.
Yeah.
Because you can't adjust and change when you got Cleo Lemon taking the snap.
No, I agree.
Okay.
But the whole point is everything's interrelated.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You can't say that Brady would have attained the success that he's attained without Belichick or vice versa.
Hey,
Well,
throw
vice
him in
versa we
Buffalo.
know didn't happen.
We'll stay in division. Throw him in Buffalo. He never gets the support from coaches. He never has the defensive talent to start his career. He never has the offensive talent in this back half of the career.
Or he may have never started.
So
Well, he started because Bledsoe got hurt.
yeah,
Right.
You know.
Yeah. Bledsoe was his Wally Pipp.
Yeah.
Right.
Poor bastard never. Well, he played for Dallas afterwards, and he played for a couple of other teams.
Yeah,
but
well.
he got, and Bledsoe was actually pretty good at that time.
Yeah.
He's a statue, but he was
wasn't
a
bad.
good quarterback.
He was bad, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So he's had talent. He's had talent around him. Brady's had talent around him.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, you don't obviously you don't win in this league without talent around you.
Not just,
post back-to-back 14-2 11-5 1 year, 12-4, 14-2, 14-2. win 3 out of 4. That's impressive.
You know what was funny to me? I remember a few years back the argument of who was better, Peyton or Brady, and I always remember the argument being along the lines of Brady's a winner, he's got the rings, but Peyton's got the stats behind him. He's had all the records, and it's sort of been flipped where now Peyton has a ring and Peyton he's won somewhat in the playoffs, and Brady has the most touchdown and the most passing yards and blah 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 whatever. Like it just seems like it's been
still got
flipped
more
on
rings
itself.
than Peyton.
He has more rings than Peyton.
Yeah,
right?
but who's got the recent ring? Who's had more success recently in the playoffs in the last 5 years?
Brady.
No,
I believe how many Super Bowls
by the end of this year,
Manning have been?
When
in
Peyton
the last
brings
5
his
years,
second ring this year, it'll be over.
Peyton has one, Brady has none in the last 5.
No, okay.
All right, that's what I said in the last 5. You want to bring in the entire career?
No.
That's fine.
You
That's a
were
different
saying
discussion.
who's won Super Bowls in the last 5 years?
No,
Now
who's had more success in the playoffs? Part
Brady.
of that is getting to a Super Bowl.
Brady has had more success in the playoffs than Manning has.
Why? For getting there and losing twice?
How do you?
Well, I don't know.
How do you quantify success? I mean, getting to a Super Bowl, you're not successful.
I don't know. You tell me.
Like, yeah, that's being successful.
I'm still stunned to this day that the Patriots didn't win both those Super Bowls.
Right.
I'm still stunned to this day. I think the game plan was very good. That inside pressure and the pressure with that D-line and all that stuff. I don't particularly think anybody in a Patriot uniform played particularly well that day, especially on offense. I'm still to this day stunned. I think that New England should have had 2 more Super Bowls.
You know what it is,
and that would have completely shut any of these conversations up.
The differences between the top is so minuscule.
Yeah.
It's lucky.
Yeah.
A lot of things have to break your way in order to win in this league. New England won all 3 of their Super Bowls by field goals. If there wasn't the tuck rule, New England doesn't get to the Super Bowl against the Oakland Raiders. A lot of stuff breaks their way in order to win the game.
And I think, I'll be honest with you, I think that it holds true for any champion in any sport.
Absolutely.
I don't know about any sport.
In any sport.
To varying degrees, I think.
To varying degrees.
Yeah, to varying degrees.
Look, one of the commentary today was because of the success that the Eagles had last night in the first half particularly. Some of these guys were talking on the radio this afternoon as I was listening, or on television, one or the other. And the first thing out of their mouth was, if they stay healthy, and Michael Vick stays healthy, and Shady McCoy stays healthy, this is going to be a tough team to deal with. But that to me doesn't mean anything, because if you take the quarterback and the lead back of any team, it's over for every one of those teams.
Yeah.
So I don't want to hear that. Don't give me that as part of an analysis as to what is good or not. The team is good the way it is, and it's going to compete the way it is. If anybody gets hurt on one team, it's going to hurt the team. So I don't think that's a viable argument.
This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do something on the fly, making this up right now. I teased the quarterback that looked like he was playing in a level higher than everybody else. At the end of this little tidbit, I'm gonna get to who it is, but I'm gonna play the cheesy NFL music, and I'm gonna go over the scores. I'm gonna point to one of you guys, and I want you guys just to give me a cliche why they won. You got it? Ice in the veins, heart, whatever. All right?
Yes, sir.
Let's see how lame this is. Denver beats Baltimore 49-27. Allen.
You cannot stop the Manning. His analysis, his pre-snap reads unbeatable. Taking down the Super Bowl champion. Ice in the brain.
You're taking up so many cliches. New England defeats Buffalo 23-21.
Hey, Tom Brady takes him down at the end of the game and hits the winner. That was weak.
What?
I don't know what the hell that meant.
Miami defeats Cleveland 23-10. Jorge.
They wanted more than Cleveland did.
That's what I'm talking about. Chicago defeats Cincinnati 24-21. See, the thing is, Cutler had the fire in his eyes.
Oh, damn, that's where I wanted to go.
Cincinnati. New Orleans upsets Atlanta at home and defeats them 23-17. Carlos.
Point to me. I got this one.
Allen,
I got this one. You can't underestimate the value of a head coach.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, well, I'll give you a little bit in a second. The Jets defeat Tampa Bay 18-17.
That rookie was so good. He wanted it so bad.
That's
And
what
he
I'm
was
talking
so
about. Yes.
prepared.
Right.
His coach was right on him, and his team was behind him.
Detroit defeats Minnesota 34-24.
Speed kills. That turf helped Reggie Bush.
Indianapolis defeats Oakland 21-17. See, the thing is, Andrew Luck wanted it more. He wanted it more than Oakland did, and Terrell Pryor, he's not a winner. On to the next one. Kansas City defeats Jacksonville 28-2. Allen.
It's not fair when a pro team plays a college team. I'm not sure why we're analyzing this game.
St. Louis goes on the road and beats Arizona 27-24.
Arizona was a very good team, but when you break down the game itself, you can see the amazing job the coaching is doing with these players. They are going places, and they're going to probably win it all.
Power in the Jeff Fisher mustache.
San Francisco defeats Green Bay 34-28.
The Niners brought the fire in the belly that Harbaugh wants.
That's what I'm talking about. Dallas defeats in the Sunday night game 36 to the New York Giants 31. It's the turnover battle. Whoever doesn't turn the ball over the most wins, but that's not what happened. Monday night game, Philadelphia 33, Washington 27. Allen.
Innovative Chip Kelly offense on pace for 199 plays a game. Revolutionized football. Michael Vick revolutionized football.
Houston, the last Monday night game, I didn't get out of work till 2 a.m. 31-28 San Diego. Both of you, let's just hear it.
There goes Phillip Rivers again, choking the game away.
He's not a winner.
Not a winner.
He is definitely not a winner.
Curse of Norv Turner.
By the way, we just broke down the way that you don't have to watch SportsCenter. We do it better than they do it, and we give it more than they do. I think that worked out.
Yeah, that
was surprising, yeah.
We'll try it again next week. Quarterback, I teased this during the break. Quarterback that looked on a level, on a plane, and you guys, I want you to knock it down. That looked better than just every other quarterback, at least in week one. He was touted over the offseason to be. He has the talent to be one of the best ever. He played against a team that he played in the playoffs that was aiming for him specifically, and he beat him with his legs last time, and this time he beat him with his arm.
George, do you know who it is?
Yeah, it's your boy.
There's only one quarterback in the NFL right now. His name is Tannehill.
George, I'll give you a hint. You mispronounce his name with two types of coins.
He's your boy.
Oh, or a medal and a coin.
I was going to say not two types of coins, but yes.
Who is he?
Coppernickel.
That's what I'm talking about. Colin Kaepernick. He hasn't thrown over 300 yards in his career, and he threw for 400 yards against Green Bay,
Ravens.
and he threw for three touchdowns, and he looked great. He didn't force the run because he only rushed, for 24 yards.
Yeah, that was actually one of the games I was able to watch.
Yeah,
he didn't
22
scramble
yards.
for the sake of
Your
scramble.
classic week one overreaction.
My classic week one overreaction. Okay, he just looked. The game looked to him so much easier than even the Michael Vick. Oh, Peyton Manning looked pretty easy. So I would say those two quarterbacks. That it just looked like they were on a different level than the rest.
Who was that? Coppernickel and who else?
Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, that San Francisco team, we were talking about it, watching it with Halfbeard and Jason. That offensive line for that team, when they got into the scuffle,
right,
you only saw their offensive line towering amongst everything else. That offensive line is enormous, and no one could get a hand on him throughout the game unless he decided to run out, and that was maybe 4 or 5 attempts.
Now, you got to couple that with the fact that
they're good.
That's not a very good Green Bay Packer defense.
Yeah, they've been a little maligned lately.
That's a very porous defense. What he did today, what he did on Sunday, you're going to see happen 6 or 7 times this year to that defense.
Against them, okay.
That defense is not very good. Now, I'm not trying to take anything away from
Coppernickel?
From Coppernickel's performance. I think he's a very good quarterback. The impressive thing was that I think Clay Matthews Jr.'s comments did impact the game plan. I absolutely believe that they impacted the game plan, and I think that they took away that read option, not physically on the field, but I think that Jim Harbaugh decided that's not the way we're going to run this game. We're going to throw the ball. A, because he saw the weakness in the fact that they could, and B, because he wasn't going to expose his quarterback week one. I am convinced of that.
Don't forget the new toy they got. Anquan Bolden and all 200 yards of his monstrosity.
Oh, yeah. Again, yeah, I think that
I have him in a fantasy team.
But I don't I do believe that played a role in it. And I was impressed that he can come out and not run the football and stay in the pocket and roll and throw as accurately as he did throw the football.
Because the way that he beat Green Bay in the playoffs, he torched them with his legs.
181.
He was running all the time, and this time he didn't run.
He didn't run at all.
He didn't run.
He'd run 3 or 4 steps to the sideline, stop and fire the ball or throw it on the run. And again, extremely accurate on the run, which was very, very nice to see.
And he's only got 2 weapons, and one of them is 40 years old. I mean, Vernon Davis is very good, and he's got Anquan Bolden, and that's it. Because Crabtree got hurt, and that's all really that they have. I mean,
Did they traded Ted Ginn?
Yeah,
he's in Carolina. Free agent.
It was
left
a free agent.
Big money deal in Carolina.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it's not that important. Whatever.
No, I'm surprised he got big money.
But would you agree with the way that he? I mean, if you guys saw the game, the way that he was playing, it looked like it was like the way that George says with Tannehill that he looked easy playing the game. That's the way that he looked against the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah.
What it looked like was 2 speeds. He was playing at a different speed than the rest of that defense was, and that's the way it was the entire game. It seemed like they were a step slower than he was, and not just in the physical aspect, but in the mental aspect, where he got to where he wanted to get before the defense can react to him. And that again, I found that very, very impressive.
Do you think the quarterback position is changing in the present tense? Right?
I can. Yeah, I'll answer that question begrudgingly. I'll tell you yes. I think it is changing. I think it's changing to the
mobile,
the Wilson, Coppernickel, Tannehill type quarterback that can move. Even Luck. I almost called him Oliver Luck, his daddy. I almost called him Oliver. Because I saw his dad play. And I think it's coming to that quarterback that can get outside the pocket, move a little bit, and move the way Aaron Rodgers moves and throws the ball on the run. I think that the Mannings and Bradys of the world will be there, but you'll have 1 or 2
it's going to be very hard to be stationary in this league coming up the next decade because defenses they get so much faster over the years. And someone who is going to stand there is going to get hit a lot more. Well, again, not hit a lot more, but he's going to be there, and things are going to be easier to plan for. Whereas the guy who can get away.
It makes sense. Ultimately, when you look at it, it makes sense. If you can have a guy that can hurt you with his legs and he can hurt you with his arms, why would you have a guy that could only hurt you with his arms?
Right.
It's like only having a guy that can hurt you with his legs. It makes no sense.
I think
if I had a car that could fly and drive, I'd have a car that can fly and drive.
They're actually selling.
You'd have a fucking good time. Is what you have.
If you wanted to buy one, they can ride and go underwater. They're selling the sub from 007.
The sub car.
Yeah, I think it was DeLorean car or Ferrari or whatever the hell it was.
I don't know. This is where you use that whip and you reel it in.
The DeLorean was back to the
doesn't
future.
007 only drive?
You know what
Aston
I'm talking
Martin?
about?
Yeah.
No, it was before your time. It was a 1970s movie.
Doesn't he only drive Aston Martins anyway?
No,
they're all
not
British
Aston Martin.
cars that he drives.
The DeLorean, I think, was the early 80s.
Maybe early 80s.
Besides, if Carlos had a flying car, he'd just be dropping bags of shit at Jeff Ireland's house. just dropping bags of shit at Jeff Ireland's house. Just plep, 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 plep. That's exactly how it would be.
The shit terrorist.
The way I think the evolution of the offense is what's causing these quarterbacks to come in. You saw what happened with Chip Kelly, and it starts in college. They want 60 plays a game. The offense does. They want to be able to hand the ball off 20 times and throw 40 times.
No, they want 80
or 80
60.
times.
Well, now.
Well, yeah. Now the evolution of the offense is no longer let's take 15-minute drives and get into the end, and then run the clock out and get into the end zone. They want fast-paced, high-octane offenses. That's why you have the pistol. That's why you have the read option. That's why you need mobile quarterbacks because they want the high pace, high tempo, and that's what's going to happen in the future. When the college quarterback, when that's established in college, and the quarterbacks separate themselves out and they come into the NFL,
pretty much established in college already.
Yeah.
High schools now, of the top 10 quarterbacks in the country in high school right now, 3 of them are in the state of Florida. They're all 6'2", 6'3" guys that run and throw equally as well. So you're right.
That's the way the evolution of offense is what's going to happen, and it's going to end up happening in the NFL too. You're going to see more guys along a Terrell Pryor than you will around a Brandon Weeden.
Yes, you're not going to see, Brandon Weedens. You're not going to see Ryan, what's his name, in Atlanta. You're not going to see that the Matt Ryans in Atlanta. Those are going to be different. Those are guys that are not going to be there.
I would say the first start of it is the lower tier, that bottom bowl. It's going to be more of who's the guy from New York, the rookie that just played.
Geno Smith.
It'll be more along Geno Smith, Terrell Pryor, EJ Manuel types.
Yeah.
Then it will be Brandon Weeden. Who's the guy that just got cut from Carolina? Jimmy Clausen.
Yeah.
Like those quarterbacks that are not that good, that they'll be backup quarterbacks, or maybe late first round picks. That all they do is they're pocket passers. They're going to be eradicated. The top guys will still be there. The Matt Ryans, the Bradys, they'll still be there.
They'll be there now because they're there. They're not going to be there in 5 years in the college draft because they're not going to be those guys. Those guys are going to be very few and far between. You may find one somewhere, but the innovations of those offenses that you're talking about, the style of game that's going to be played offensively and defensively, I think that's going to eliminate that position or make it it's going to make it very difficult for you to be successful as a quarterback at that position because you're not going to be as versatile as the other guy is.
Look at the college quarterbacks that are out there now. I mean, Johnny Manziel, he won the Heisman, and he's the same way. He's smaller, but he's mobile. He doesn't stay in the pocket.
Right.
The guy from Clemson, which could go in the first round,
Boyd.
Stephen Morris.
Yeah, Stephen Morris.
Like, all these guys are the ones that move around.
The freshman at Florida State now. I mean, I'm telling you,
that kid look good.
Look at the top 25. Look at Teddy Bridgewater. Look at the top 25. These guys are all super, super mobile guys.
Let's talk about what we're really saying. The black quarterback is coming.
The black quarterback is here.
No,
Before people used to say you can never win. How
many black quarterbacks started? 20 years ago. Black quarterbacks started in the NFL this week?
That's a good question. It's got to be over 8.
9.
9
NFL quarterbacks that started were African Americans.
It's coming.
It's coming,
it's
and
happening.
it's here. That athlete.
How many of them were Cuban?
3.
Okay, good. It's a good
Before, people say you can never win with Dante Culpepper. You can never win with Michael Vick. And now.
They were happy with the Doug Williams. They were.
I was going to say.
Doug Williams was okay.
Do you know who Doug Williams is?
From Washington.
Yeah, from Washington. I don't think it was black. I think it was the style of playing, of running, and I mean, because Warren Moon was an excellent quarterback, but and so was Doug Williams. But they were both statues.
Right. And Warren got his. He left Washington State. He went to Canada, played 9 years in Canada, won 4 Grey Cups in Canada.
Probably the first. And there might have been people before. I mean, you go to white guys that ran around, but the first black quarterback that I can remember that ran around was Cunningham.
Randall, yeah. Well, ¿cómo se llama? Played with the Steelers. John Gilliam.
Yeah,
John Gilliam, number 17, played with the Steelers. He was a quarterback.
Yeah, but he wasn't.
He was a starter for a couple years.
Exactly. So
is it odd that I was going to say Slash when you said played for the Steelers?
Oh, well,
that's where I was going.
Cordell Stewart. He wasn't really a quarterback either.
No, he wasn't.
I don't think he came out of Colorado, but he wouldn't even consider a quarterback at Colorado. More of a
McNabb is the only black quarterback. Well, in recent memory, that's been really successful.
Well, I mean, Randall Cunningham was very successful.
Cunningham was good in
I'm talking about
recently. Yeah.
In the last 10 years.
Michael Vick, his run.
Yeah, Michael Vick has been pretty successful.
Okay.
Yeah, but also the league has been hoarded by Breeze, the Mannings, and Brady and Roethlisberger.
Right.
There's the hybrid quarterback is Michael Vick, who's got a spectacularly beautiful arm, throws a beautiful ball.
I think it's the most beautiful ball in the NFL,
without question. I'll argue
that. The zip on it.
It is so feathery.
I will argue that point with anybody.
It's like Ja'Cory Harris with force.
Beautiful ball.
I'll tell you, Tannehill throws a pretty nice ball.
He
Oh,
does.
yeah,
He
enough
does.
with Tannehill, man.
No, I'm being serious. He does.
He throws so many incomplete passes for
Hey,
me
shut
to
up.
say that. But isn't that the way? Isn't that what we're saying? The black quarterback is coming up.
No, I don't think
I don't
so
see it
because there's
like that.
already
I think-
black
I think- I
quarterbacks
think the
and it's
mobile
more
quarterback.
style of play. Because right now we're talking about the athlete, and Aaron Rodgers was mentioned already as that first wave. And Aaron Rodgers is far from black.
Well, his
Right.
mom is black, but
Well, I mean, Aaron Rodgers and Andrew Luck, and that's it. There's not white mobile quarterbacks. It's like,
Tannehill.
hear
I
me
think
out.
Ryan.
Tannehill.
Hear me
Tannehill's
out.
a
Hear me
former
out.
receiver.
Will the quarterback position end up being along the lines of the
Receiver and the
cornerback
cornerbacks?
and the white receiver and the white wide receiver, where those positions will end up being primarily black, if not primarily black, majority black?
What position?
You know how the defensive back and wide receivers are primarily black, that they're primarily black.
Okay.
That is the quarterback eventually 10, 15 years down the road, will they be along the lines where majority, the way that offense and the mobility is a necessity, will that be for the quarterback in the next 10, 15 years? Will be a majority black? Because it's
Which
already
would-
happening. You
which-
said 9 out of
Nine.
32.
9 out of 30.
And this
so
is the first
16,
time.
16 will be 50%. So, yeah, I
The
think
good- the
that's
good-
going to happen much sooner than you
The
think.
good college quarterbacks that are coming through that we just listed off the top of the head, we
gonna
mentioned
be
4 or 5 of them. 3 of them are black already.
Right.
No, a Heisman Trophy winner from last year was a white guy.
Was a white
I mean, I don't know. I mean, what are you trying to say? They're better athletes?
Again, there's absolutely
No,
no
no.
chance in hell that Johnny Manziel plays in the NFL and is productive in the NFL.
I don't know, bro.
No, absolutely
No,
not.
Bob, he's
Absolutely
small
not.
and he's small
Absolutely not.
and not
Oh,
good
yeah.
enough with the arm.
Yeah.
He's not he's
That guy from New Orleans is humongous.
No.
Yeah,
that's-
but
we're talking
he's a
different-
master
you're
with
talking-
his arm,
no, you're
dude.
talking
Yeah,
different guys.
he's,
Say it again.
he's a world-class thrower.
You're talking about someone who's more accurate than Olympic archery men. They
I'm-
tested that shit out. He's more
I'm-
accurate with a football than an archer from the Olympics.
I'm convinced. That's my opinion that Johnny Manziel will not be a decent pro quarterback.
Do you see what I'm saying, though?
Absolutely, and I think it happens in the next 3 to 4 years, not 10 to 15.
Really?
Where we get to the 50% mark in the next 2 to 3, 4 years.
You think so?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, if you,
There'll be 16 starting quarterbacks in the NFL that are black within the next 2 to 3 years. I'm convinced of that.
just in the AFC, it went from 4 white quarterbacks. Now we got 2 black quarterbacks playing.
Yeah.
In the AFC East, I mean, with Buffalo and New York. And Brady's not going to be along forever.
Yeah, but Mallett's behind him, so the white
mean-
guy quota is secured.
Mallet, whatever.
Yeah, that's another one that's I think that's one of those hold this position torch until I get my player again, because I don't think
Right.
Ryan Mallett's that guy either.
But, I mean, is it outrageous for me to think that
No,
the
no.
way of the quarterback will it could end up being the way of the defensive back and wide receiver?
I think to the extent that the defensive back and the receiver, maybe. I don't think it's going to go overwhelmingly one way or the other. I think it's going to hit that 50 and stay around that 50. I think it's going to be balanced, because I also think part of bringing up quarterbacks, the affluent people who have money can go to all these camps, can develop a little bit better.
Good point.
And if I'm going by demographics, white people have got more money, and white people are more prone to send their kids cross country to some camp to be a quarterback to help the recruitment.
That's true to a certain extent,
but only
though.
exactly.
No,
only to an extent.
I'm not saying it's gonna stymie it all. I'm saying that some of that has to play in. I think it'll hit around the 50% mark, and it'll stay about balanced there if you're talking just black-white. But the other thing is, you're saying black-white, but that doesn't say anything about the styles. You might have 16 black quarterbacks, 8 of them are statues, and 8 run, and maybe
What's
four move.
Copernical considered, black or white?
He's considered black,
Why?
Yeah.
He's half white.
right? Obama's half white, too, and he's considered black.
Yeah,
But I mean, why is
he's
he
Kenyan.
representing the black community only? Again, why can't he represent the white community?
He can do both, I guess, but he is representing black community
Why?
because he's half black,
But he's half white.
right? So he can represent both.
I guess. I
Okay.
would think so. I mean,
So what does that mean?
Right, but there's not there's not a delineation where it says, we have a black-white quarterback starting. We're gonna say he's a black quarterback starting to give to give credence to the fact that he's black.
Right.
So I don't think there's any problem with that.
the slow turn as he's proud of himself. George was so proud of the problem he just created. Slowly turns his face to me.
What problem did he
smiles.
create? I missed it.
No, just to get the argument of why can't he be white? Why has he got to be black? And as you guys actually start talking about it, I get a slow turn and then a smile.
Good one.
No, nobody understands it.
No, it's just you and me. You and me. SpongeBob and Cowboy Bebop over here.
That was funny.
He created controversy. the Cuban and the geek. That sounds like a show.
Hey, wait a minute. Why can't I still be Cuban? I eat croquetas. I drink maderva.
You want to be Japanese more? You want to be
Speaking of
Cuban?
which,
I don't eat much Japanese food, to be
Speaking of
honest.
which, you need to bring some croquetas in next week from that place that's right around the corner from your house, by the way.
All right. Let me know. Just remind me that day.
We're going to go to break. We'll come back. We'll wrap this show up. We got, do you have a segment in you or no?
Yeah. I actually found some positive thing locally.
We'll do that. We'll talk a little bit
in
about
Hialeah, in the city of Hialeah.
No, actually, city of Coral Gables.
The world is gonna end.
We'll talk a little bit about the Canes.
The apocalypse.
We got Come Mierda of the Week next. Don't go anywhere.
This is right.
Faces of confusion.
This is just to rile me up. This is just to rile me up. I'm being played now.
I don't want to talk over it.
Oh no, it's such classic.
What the hell's the difference? You're not understanding what they're saying anyway.
It's such a classic. I wouldn't want to. Yeah, let's talk over the Rush or the Beatles' White Album, but let's not talk over Pokemon Wild Adventures.
Alan, please tell me there's something along those lines.
No, this is actually a current series, Attack on Titan, a medieval-esque type series where they're dealing with the fact that giants have invaded the world. No Pokemon. I thought about doing the Pokemon because you had suggested it when we were talking about the Nerd Council.
Right.
Of just having the first Pokemon thing, but
how many giants do they need to invade the world? Like 3?
It wasn't a lot, and they kind of cordoned everybody into one area of the world.
I mean, just reach down and scoop up Asia, scoop up Central America.
They weren't that big there.
You know what? I might not understand it. You know, I might not understand the show, but at least it's like funny to listen to. Because seeing these guys react,
my God,
it makes it worth it.
It's pain from Carlos, and I feel like George laughs at first, then is ashamed, and then goes back to laughing.
He just can't understand.
No, it's
and I like music. I really am a music lover. I mean, I'm very eclectic when it comes to my diversity in music. I'll listen to anything.
Yeah, but these are just the theme songs of cartoons, so it's not like it's an album.
And that's why
it's not like it's music.
Amazing.
It's a jingle.
It's amazing to me.
It's a glorified jingle.
Actually, in Japan, they use their pop songs within their shows, so those are all pop songs from Japan.
Again with the Japan.
Yeah. Well,
again,
I told you I was gonna do an anime day.
Yeah.
Don't they have animation anywhere else in the world? Like, don't we have Hungarian animation or Romanian animation?
Actually, they take most of them and go to either Korea or Japan to do the animation. Even Avatar, some of it's done in Korea, I think.
Kim Jong-un doesn't allow animation.
South Korea.
Sorry,
there's two
because I knew you were lying to me right off the bat. Because Kim Jong-un does not play that nonsense.
No, he'll send him to jail
Did you see his wife?
forever.
Huh? Did you see his wife?
Kim Jong-un?
You mean was his wife or his girlfriend?
He's got a baby now.
Yeah, she gave
Wait,
birth, I
is the
guess.
baby going to jail?
Yeah.
For what?
Oh, there's a thing that he
being
had
a
his
baby.
girlfriend killed or executed by firing squad, and they have a generations law in North Korea. So if anyone in your family goes to jail, like if your brother did something, you, your parents, and either a generation above that or below that, all of you go to an imprisonment camp.
What?
Yep.
So, you know what? We really should listen to Rodman and visit because they are very good people. We should visit. We should
He's a
take
good guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy. We should get together like the sports table there. Do you think we can do that? We can do the sports table there.
We'll just plug into the one outlet.
The one
in the
outlet
whole
they
country.
have,
You, Carlos, you're the watchdog. You look out for the millionaires and billionaires and everything that's going on in regards to in regards to people that that are in charge, basically. Do you have something good for us or what?
I got something interesting. Where's my music? Come on, give me my music. I'm not talking. There we go. Oh, wow. What the hell are they up to now? Well, I think they're up to something positive. I've been trying to work a positive angle government-wise over the last couple
month.
of weeks.
Is it out that it's taken 27 shows to actually get to something positive?
There's got to be more that I'm not finding. But the city of Coral Gables has been dealing with their employees over the last couple of years. It's been 2 years since the employees have had a contract in Coral Gables, and the union's been working now. As a union by myself and a representative for longer than I care to admit, I can see the union wanting to better the situation. But in the current financial situation and climate that we find ourselves as a country, as cities and municipalities, the union's got to learn to give a little bit and got to learn to work with the administrations, especially when the administrations are trying to be fair. And in this case, I find that Coral Gables is doing a very, very nice job providing for the employees. One of the things that they were dealing with the pensions and the contributions. As you know, cities contribute to the employees' pensions, and the employees wanted the city to continue to provide 18.5% of the pension to the program, and the employees wanted to only have to contribute 12%. So there was a 6% gap there. That's a pretty big gap. The commission settled on providing 17%. So the city will be putting 17% of the money into the pension, which amounts to a nice amount of money during the course of a year. Somewhere in the vicinity of about $360,000 that the city will be putting in to grow the pension and continue the pension growing at the rate so that it'll continue to pay those that are retired and those that will be retiring.
$360,000 a year?
A year.
That's not a lot.
That's not a lot. So when the union started fighting and arguing that why should just the general employees pay? Well, fire and police are also in that same thing. Fire used to contribute 5%. Now fire is going to be contributing 10%. Of their salary into that, and police are going to be contributing 10%. So they've kind of worked it out where everybody's contributing a fair amount. They've also negotiated, which the union was staunchly against, but the commission forced it through. And when I tell you the commission forced it through, it was because of something called the impasse procedure. An impasse procedure is when you go a couple of years or a year without being able to come to an agreement. Then you take all your grievances to the county commission or city council, and they hear it out, and they make the final determination as to how it's imposed on the employees. And this is, as a contract, whether the employees want it or not, this is the way it will be.
Right.
So one of the things that the county commission decided was that any kind of an increase in the pensions amount over the next 3 years of this contract is going to be split 50-50. So if the pension amount goes up $100,000, then the employees are going to have to contribute $50,000 more, and the city will contribute $50,000 more. I mean, I find that to be completely fair. If, in fact, we're going to have a pension program where employees are going to work 25 years and retire and then collect, because the average employee now, not the average employee, an ununiformed civilian employee who works 30 years will average out at about $60,000 a year, will retire after 30 years, and bring home $40,000 a year for the rest of his life.
Right.
So if you're going to get something like that, you need to be able to contribute something into the program, because you can't have the communities paying for your retirement when you're long and gone and not providing a service.
Well, can
to the
you
city.
compare it to other cities? I mean, what are other cities doing in regards to their pensions?
Oh, well, most other cities are now eliminating pension programs, and it's
Altogether.
What they're going to a 401k program, right, or a 401(6) program.
But typically what's the percentage, the matching percentage from the city?
Well, in Hialeah, while I was there, they were at 22%.
They'll match up to 22%.
Well, not 401ks, but the pension. So they were putting in 22% of the amount of monies that the actuary or the accountant would say was necessary to fund the program for the retirees and the
well, no, what I'm asking now, I mean, I know the retirement plans for the cities and the state and government entities was pretty good before.
Right.
Now that they're going, now that they're going to 401ks or 401bs,
right,
what like Siemens, for example, matched up to 8%, which is for a private company
That's very good.
It was pretty high. Yeah.
Right.
What's typical for a city? 6%?
Yeah, they're between 6 and 8%, depending on what city you're in, depending on how they're doing it. Now they're actually even going 5% on matches and letting you put in up to 8%. So they're letting you put in more than what they can match. And that's one of the, as a negotiator, that's one of the things you try to find. Okay, you only want to match up to 5%, and you've always kept us, or most programs keep you at only 6% of your salary max into the program. Well, one of the ways to open up the avenue a little bit is to let the employee contribute a little bit more so that their number goes up at the end of the day a little bit more. So, I mean, I like the direction that Coral Gables is heading in with that, and I think it's a good idea for others that want to work within the structure of a pension program, which I believe in the next 5 to 10 years will be completely eliminated, and it's going to be self-funding your own retirement.
Really?
Yeah, I think that's the direction. I think it's just too big a burden for cities and for the citizens to continue to pay. I mean, you can't keep jacking up these interest the tax base in order to pay retirees. It's tough. Lastly, you had the city of Miami Shores, which decided to drop property taxes. They dropped the millage rate from 18.65 to 18.45, which is not a huge amount, but it's still a reflection of the fact that the economy is changing a little bit. They've done some of the right things economically within the city, and they've realized some savings, so they're turning back and saying to the community, look, the last 6-7 years, you guys have been getting stuck, and we've had to raise taxes on you on a regular basis. Here's a little bit of relief. It turns out to be $37 a year relief, but so what?
Yeah.
I think more than the actual $37, it's the fact that we're saying we're lowering your taxes.
Right.
And we're not removing or eliminating services. And I think that was a very positive thing. My concern is that cities like Biscayne Park, because Miami Shores is one of the highest tax bases in all of Miami-Dade County. In fact, it is the third highest tax base in all of Miami-Dade County is in Miami Shores. The second highest tax base is in Biscayne Park. You will not be able to tell me who the highest tax base in Miami-Dade County is, and I'll buy you dinner wherever the hell you want if you tell me what the highest tax base in Miami-Dade County is. You'll be utterly shocked.
Hialeah.
Homestead.
Liberty City.
No, but that was a really good
Opalaka.
guess. Opalaka.
Damn, you owe me dinner.
No, that was the fourth guess. You already guessed. Opalaka, man. The city of Opalaka. What is the city of Opalaka providing for their residents that they have the highest tax bracket in all of Miami-Dade County?
They're stealing like hell.
Unbelievable.
That I found very disturbing because I don't see it when I drive through Opalaka.
Right.
I don't see the prosperity. I don't see the advantages of living there and paying the kind of property taxes.
Obviously you're basing it on percentage. Your calculation is based on percentage.
The calculations are based on millage rates. What the millage rate is.
Millage?
Millage is the number that's multiplied against the value of whatever property you have. So if you own a house and it's at 18%, it's multiplied at, the millage rate is 1.856. They multiply that number times the value of your house, and that's the tax base that you pay for your house.
Alan, really quick, we should know this, or we need to be prepared, I guess, in adulthood to know this. Do you know any of this?
Nope. I took an economics class at FIU.
Right.
That was past the test and go on.
Hialeah, to its own defense, has always been very good at that. It's changed a little bit, obviously, since Robina and Hernandez has taken over. Raul Martinez was always very staunch at saying, I will not raise my residents' garbage fees or my residents' taxes to pay you more money as an employee. He always told us that.
Right.
And he didn't. He was very good at not raising taxes. He did when he had to, but he was very good at not raising taxes, which is why he was there for 24 or 25 years.
Well, breaking news, as Carlos is saying, that the United States, they qualified to the World Cup.
Woo! Qualify!
Yeah.
It's their 10th appearance overall. I'm just reading the stat that ESPN had. It's their 10th appearance overall, the second most out of the CONCACAF division behind Mexico that's gone to the 14. But the United States advanced, and so did Costa Rica. Mexico, see you later, bye. Have better luck next year.
Bye-bye.
So United States is going to Brazil, guys.
Yeah.
Hey, it's gonna be so nice to not have to watch a game at a random ass time because it's somewhere else in the world.
True. Good point.
Yeah.
Good
like,
point.
Like if it says 7 p.m., it's 7 p.m. here.
Yeah. That's a very good point. I didn't think about that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's go, guys. Listen, you know what? I'm very proud of everyone here. The last show was and the show before that was okay. We picked it up this show.
Yeah, I think it was a good show today. Very good. Very
It's
nice
not
show.
over yet. It's not over yet. We still have Come Mierda of the week. But so far, good job. We do this each week. We pick a few people just to blast. And due to football, there's a plethora of Come Mierdas out there. My Come Mierdas are really good. I kind of want to go last. So I just want one of you guys to jump in and take over.
I'll go second.
I'm going to go first.
Go for it.
And I'm sorry that I'm not going to expand on what I'm about to say because I'm just going to say a name. But it's my Come Mierda of the week. It's Angel Gonzalez.
Is that the engineer?
He's an engineer, but he's
Said you weren't going to expand on it.
You're right.
Has he been Come Mierda
Promise
before?
broken.
Has he been Come Mierda before? I remember you calling out someone else.
I'm going to tell. I've known this guy since I was 14 years old, and I just got. No, you know what? I'm not going there. Angel Gonzalez, Miami Dade Water and Sewer, Come Mierda of the week.
Come Mierda.
Not your brother? Not your brother?
Nah, not my brother.
You done, George?
Yeah.
I had this lined up for last week, and I kind of balked at it and let it go. But I dislike these two people so much that I got to bring them back to the table. We're talking about Lou Holtz and Mark May.
Oh.
Lou Holtz and Mark
P-head,
May.
P-head.
And I thank Deadspin for this because I wouldn't have never known this on my own, obviously. But reading a little bit and finding, I found they were talking about the Michigan Notre Dame game and all the hype and all the greatness associated with this rivalry and all that pontificating, all this greatness to these two schools of football knowledgeness. Mark May makes the comment that I can't have much doubt. I think it's terrific. It's a terrific rivalry. And when game day comes to town, they know it's a big game. Everybody knows it's a big game. Growing up in upstate New York, I used to watch it when I was growing up and when it was on television. Really, Mark? Notre Dame didn't play Michigan while you were growing up. In fact, the first time that Notre Dame played Michigan in your lifetime, it was 1978, and you were a sophomore offensive lineman for the Pitt Panthers, where you presumably were playing in the game, not watching television. So when the hell were you watching them, Mark? Because for the next 4 years, you were playing on Saturday while they were playing on Saturday. So realistically, the first time you got a chance to watch them was in the late 80s. So come on, Mark, what are you talking about?
Wow.
And I got a similar comment by Lou Holtz. Let me find it here.
Are you gonna do it with the mouth numb, swollen tongue sound?
I can't.
Lou Holtz looked like someone urinated on his head and just let it dry.
I
That's
always
the
go
color
with
of
he
his
sounds
hair.
like he came out of the dentist and everything is numb. I tell you what, when you play football, you have football players. Notre Dame.
Here's old Lou. This is not an historical. Are you kidding me? I mean, I grew up. I couldn't wait for Michigan Notre Dame, going back to Bubba Smith. All right, two things here. Skip, 26 years old, it was the first time you ever watched Michigan play Notre Dame. And second, he mentions that the series going back to Bubba Smith. Smith plays college in the 1960s, a decade during which Michigan and Notre Dame never played. Never played. But he was watching Michigan play with Bubba Smith on the field.
That's ludicrous.
You know what?
Best
This is just to show you, because I think about this all the time, and I know I've said it before to all of you guys, at least. My dad used to always tell me, these guys know more, these guys know this, or question what they were telling the analysts were saying. And I used to always tell him, Dad, these guys just have opinions like you and I do. They just get paid to say them. And they have other people doing research and giving them stuff. That's all this is, man. These guys regurgitating bullshit and just trying to give you information and make themselves look better you know what? And for this, Mark May, Lou Holtz, you're my Come Mierdas of the Week.
Michigan lovers.
Come mierda!
That was strong. Very strong.
All right, since you're last, I'm next. I have 2 this week. Yeah. Non-football related as well. So my first Come Mierda comes from a source that we usually make fun of the Knicks variety. Chris Smith. Chris Smith is the brother of J.R. Smith, which should already concern you. Chris Smith, to celebrate his brother's birthday, in a show of solidarity for good decision making, got a tattoo of J.R. Smith's face.
Of J.R. Smith, what?
What?
Chris Smith, the brother of J.R. Smith, tattooed on his back the face of his brother. Now, I love my brother.
No.
Chris, you love your brother.
No.
I'm not getting his face on my body.
No.
You're not. Carlos George, you're not putting your brother's faces on your body.
I don't particularly like my brother, so that's easy for me.
No, I'm not.
And as a show of creativity, the tattoo of J.R. Smith on his back, right underneath in print, has "Always got my back."
Oh my gosh.
Well, that's love, man.
Doesn't that tell you decision making runs in the family?
It's going to be an
That's love.
awesome year for the Knicks.
I think they'll win at least 80 games.
Yeah. So, Chris Smith, you are my first Come Mierda of the week. Come Mierda. Next is Tumble Down Trails. It is it will be the 12th anniversary of 9/11 coming up, right? We're all aware of this. Tumble Down Trails, a golf course in Wisconsin, thought it was appropriate to throw out a promotion on 9/11 to get 9 holes of golf and a golf cart for $9.11.
Oh my God.
Or 18 for $19.11. Think about that. They used one of the greatest tragedies in American history as a chance for promotions.
It was a marketing ploy.
Yeah. And people took them up on this offer, by the way. I assume because they're like, coño, 9/11 for the 9 holes. That's pretty good.
Now let me ask you this: is the funding going to like a charity or something, or
No. This was a legitimate marketing ploy at the beginning, and as you would expect, people went, "What the fuck is going on here?"
Right.
So they of course had to stop. Anyone who already booked keeps their $9.11. Anyone that books after has to pay the normal rate, and the difference they will of course throw into charity because they've got to do something to make themselves not look dumb.
Unbelievable.
And then, this is a golf course in Wisconsin. They go to the internet.
I don't have a problem with the golf course doing that. I have a problem with the idiots that actually went. Because they should have had one of those cricket days at that golf course that day. Nobody should have even wanted to go by there.
Oh,
that's insane.
So they go to the internet to try to apologize and try to make things better. One of the comments they get back, this is like saying I'm not a racist because I have a black friend. And all that, now they're considering shutting down the golf course on that day anyway. So for that, Tumble Down Trails. I had to look down because who the hell cares about you? You're my Come Mierda of the week. Come Mierda.
All very strong candidates, but I think I top you guys.
I've got J.R. Smith's face on a back.
That's hard to top.
Yeah.
That's
Show
hard
it
to
to me.
top.
Show it to me, Chris.
Okay.
Show me what you got.
I need everyone's attention on this one because this one deserves everyone's attention. Jorge, you with me?
I'm listening, bro.
Okay.
Let's go for it.
My first Come Mierda of the week is a guy called Danny Trevathan. Have you guys heard of Danny Trevathan?
No.
Not lately.
Danny Trevathan. We've all seen him. We just don't know what his name is. He's the linebacker in the Thursday night game where he intercepts the ball against Joe Flacco and runs it to go score the touchdown.
Oh, yeah.
But lets
Danny.
go of the ball before he gets into the end zone.
Oh, you're talking about the Colts,
linebacker
yeah,
from the Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
His name's Danny Trevathan. He picks off the ball.
Manning.
He picks off the ball and runs it, and Deshaun Jackson-esque lets it go 2 yards before he sees the pylon and does his celebration and realizes that the touchdown didn't count because he fumbled it. Not only that, the best linebacker on the Broncos got hurt because they were diving for the ball and rolled his ankle in the process, and his boy got hurt in the process.
Incredible.
Did you
Dude.
see Jack Real go to him?
Railing on him. Are you kidding me?
Man, that was sweet.
Oh, you got the second one. I know what you got.
Yep. So, for not scoring a touchdown when you had it in your hands and letting it go, dude, you let it go.
Forget that.
And you celebrated. And you got your boy hurt.
That's the important one.
You got your boy hurt in the process. Danny Trevathan, you were my first Come Mierda of the week.
Come mierda.
My second Come Mierda of the week is during Sunday football. It was a 1 o'clock game. Dude, how many safeties were during that first few rounds of games?
3 or 4.
There were like 4. I think there were 5 total.
No, I think there was 4 totals. 3 on Sunday and 1 on.
Okay, so 4 total safeties.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But the best one of all of them was Darius Rayad. Reyyaud. Rayad. What Darius did, he was the kick returner for the Tennessee Titans. Okay,
This is how you started the game.
this is how the game starts. So he kicks the ball. The guy catches the ball in front of the end zone. Okay, on the 1 yard line. He takes a step back to kneel it, but what he doesn't realize is he's already in action. He can't kneel anymore. So he basically starts the game off with a safety against your team. Let that sit for a second. That's never happened ever.
They were playing, they were playing the Steelers, right?
They were playing the Steelers.
Hey, he's a Pittsburgh fan. It was a gift to his team.
He kneels into a safety. Those were the only points that the Steelers scored. He kneels it into the end zone for a safety.
That is pretty stupid.
Yeah.
Darius, along with Danny, for doing dumb football plays, you both are my Come Mierdas of the week.
Excellent.
I still have one more. This guy tops the cake for me. You know, there's a mayoral race up in New York, like Carlos Danger and all those other guys. Okay, something happened in New York where there were these 2 kittens on the subway path, okay? And nobody could get down to get them, so they stopped the subway path, okay? And it was 2 hours delay in Manhattan. It was a big, debacle. It took a long time for them to finally get the trains going again. People were delayed. It's a major city. It's the biggest city in the country. Because of those 2 little kittens. So they asked, in the mayoral race, after this all happened, they asked all the people, oh, what would you do? What would you do? Anthony Weiner saying, I would crawl in my knees and get in himself. Another guy's like, oh, yeah, I would have stopped it and I would have gotten it down. There's no way we should sacrifice these 2 kittens. I want to get his name correctly. Republican Joe Loda. And I quote, he does not, he quote, does not think it's appropriate to shut down an entire train line to save 2 cats. He's the only guy in the mayoral race in
That
New
was
York
honest.
City that's pro dead kitten.
The question is he just ballsy or dumb?
He's pro dead cat. He's pro dead kitten.
No,
he is.
He's pro dead kitten.
He's pro don't ruin my economics for cats. The problem is you
he's
don't
pro-
say that because you don't want to sacrifice lives for anything publicly. That's the problem.
He's the pro dead kitten candidate in New York. That's what he'll be known for.
But he's leading the race.
Is he?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
He should be.
He's losing. He's losing in the kitten delegation.
He's the only honest delegate, though.
That's right.
The only
No, he's
honest
not,
guy.
man.
Yes, he is.
The other guys
You
would have.
can't say that.
I'm not arguing that point. I'm just telling you he's honest. He's telling you the truth. This is the way I would have done it. Run those trains full speed, right through those lines, and run, cat, run, or die.
Die, cat died.
So,
But you can't say that during a race.
No,
my
you're
man.
absolutely correct. He is come mierda
Yeah, man.
for saying
you
it.
can't say that during the race.
I would, if I was his publicist right now, I would come out and say he's the only honest man.
Yeah, that's-
he's the
that's
only
right.
person
Can't make it worse,
in this city
'cause he's
that would tell you
backtracked.
the truth.
He's backtracked since
Of
then.
course he's backtracking. You think
he's deleting the tweet.
He's backtracked since then.
No, you crazy? You know how many bloody letters PETA has sent to him for this?
He made it on the Colbert Report. That's how I found it out. And Colbert just went on a rant about it. It was hilarious. So, Joe Loda, you are my real come mierda of the week.
Come mierda!
He's pro dead cats, dude.
I'm going to have to agree with Lyota.
Hey,
all right.
does anybody know who Francisco Chung is?
No.
He's decided to follow me on Twitter.
There you go.
Yeah!
All right,
Congratulations!
I don't know who he is.
Francisco
Wait
Chung.
a minute. George, did you put your name as Francisco Chung?
No. I have a George Menendez.
Oh, okay.
You know who it is? That's
Chris
Anthony
Sanchez.
That's Anthony Weiner's other name.
Francisco
Hey,
Chung.
maybe one of the Cantonese, a family of yours, lost cousin.
It could be. I got 12. We have 12 people following.
All right.
Thank you, Time.
We have sent out 138 tweets.
Good God, man. Thank you to Defo and DefoRadio.com and Mike and Ken and all those guys.
Yeah,
on the
guys,
website.
thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Alan, YouTube, where do you find us?
The Sports Table Miami. Check us out. We got all our episodes, a couple behind the tables, even some PSAs from back in the day.
We got look for us on the Sports Table page on Facebook. I posted Randy Starks giving the finger out. That was my own, investigation.
I posted an homage to Carlos where they're selling a Pokemon card for $100,000 on eBay.
Wow.
Carlos, where can we add 13 and 14 on Twitter?
13 and 14 on Twitter at sports_table.
Good show, guys. The Dolphins play game 2 during the week.
And
It's
they
gonna be
will win.
interesting. So for Alan and for Theo George and for Theo Carlos and Chris, we're the Sports Table, and we'll see all of you guys next week.
Arigato gozaimasu.
Arigato.